However, after achieving the primordial spirit, the effects of the two small divine powers on me have greatly diminished. After estimating his own strength, Lu Qing felt a stirring in his heart. After stepping into the primordial spirit realm, his physical body and divine soul both underwent essential transformations. This also led to the two divine skills controlled by his primordial spirit. The physical body divine power, great strength, and the divine soul divine ability, mistaken, had their effects greatly weakened on him. Especially the great strength divine skill, after he exhibited the true witch body, its enhancing effect on him was almost negligible. However, all of this was within Lu Qing's expectations. After all, great strength and mistaken were merely two small divine powers, which served as trump cards during his golden core realm. But now, having stepped into the primordial spirit realm, his strength has undergone an earth-shattering transformation. The enhancing effects of divine power at the small divine power level appear much diminished. It is difficult to achieve the several-fold, or even tenfold, increase in strength he experienced in the golden core realm. It seems that only by elevating the grade of these two divine skills and cultivating them to the level of great divine power can they be transformed into trump cards again. Divine skills are classified by grade. The divine skills Great Strength and Mistaken were granted to Lu Qing when he successfully crossed the innate tribulation, bestowed by the will of the heavens and earth. Although they are merely small divine power level, they possess the extremely rare trait of being capable of growth. They can be continuously enhanced through cultivation, elevating the grade of the divine skills. However, the cultivation of divine skills is not only profoundly esoteric but also entails considerable risk. After all, divine skills are linked to the mysterious and unfathomable principles of the Tao, requiring one to endure the counterforce of the Tao during cultivation. If one's realm is insufficient and cultivation inadequate, attempting to forcibly elevate the grade of divine skills is very likely to be met with a backlash from the force of the Tao, leading to unimaginable consequences. Even when Lu Qing was in the golden core realm, he could only cultivate and master these two divine skills to the level of small divine power perfection, unable to elevate them to the level of great divine power. However, now that Lu Qing has stepped into the primordial spirit realm, his strength has undergone a tremendous transformation. His ability to withstand the counterforce of the Tao has also greatly increased. Hence, he can begin to attempt elevating the two small divine powers, Great Strength and Mistaken, to the level of great divine power. Of course, this is not something that can be achieved overnight, and even with Lu Qing's superpower assisting him, it would require a considerable amount of time for insight. This matter cannot be rushed, so Lu Qing decided, after some time, when he returns to his home world, he will continue to contemplate it slowly. With the plan set, Lu Qing finally turned his attention to his mind, specifically to the Taoist chapter floating within his mind. This time, after successfully crossing the tribulation and stepping into the primordial spirit realm, Lu Qing was not granted any additional innate divine abilities. But as he expected, he was granted another Taoist chapter elucidating the mysteries of the primordial spirit realm. Furthermore, the Taoist chapter of the primordial spirit realm has merged with the Taoist chapter of the golden core realm he had previously obtained. Looking at the Taoist chapter in his mind, which sometimes appeared as a ball of golden light and sometimes transformed into a scroll of paintings, emitting mysterious characters, Lu Qing pondered deeply. This Taoist chapter, each character a pearl of wisdom, clearly delineates multiple levels of the mysteries of cultivation. It does not seem like a natural product but more like a mysterious Taoist scroll written by some existence to elucidate the principles of cultivation. But what kind of existence could create such an extraordinary Taoist chapter and integrate it into the Tao, randomly bestowing it upon the destined through the heavenly tribulation? Could it be that someone in this world can control the Tao and master the heavenly tribulation? For some reason, Lu Qing again recalled the final soul tribulation during his previous tribulation, the strange eye forming in the vortex of the heavenly tribulation. Though that eye appeared emotionless, like some manifestation of the will of the Tao, he instinctively felt that things might not be that simple. Unfortunately, perhaps due to his realm and strength still being inadequate, even using his superpower, He could not discern the true origins of the Eye of Heavenly Tribulation and the Taoist chapter in his mind. After pondering for a while without finding an answer, Lu Qing decided to stop thinking about it. Ultimately, the issue still lies with his strength. If he could break through to a higher realm, then by relying solely on his superpower, he might be able to see through illusions and uncover many truths. After calming his thoughts, Lu Qing felt the Taoist chapter in his mind, activated his superpower, and immersed his heart and spirit to begin his enlightenment. Instantly, many insights into the mysteries of the primordial spirit realm surged in his heart. Unaware of how much time had passed, Lu Qing awoke from his enlightenment and concluded this session of Taoist chapter comprehension. This primordial spirit realm is truly profound and vast, Lu Qing remarked with insight gleaming in his eyes, unable to resist expressing his admiration. Through this session of comprehending the Taoist chapter, he gained a relatively clear understanding of the first few tribulations before the primordial spirit realm. Simply put, the first few tribulations of the primordial spirit realm mainly focus on refining and accumulating one's primordial spirit body and mana. With each passing tribulation of the first 4 tribulations of the primordial spirit realm, the primordial spirit and mana undergo transformations. Both lifespan and strength greatly increase. In essence, the first 4 tribulations of the primordial spirit realm are a process of laying foundations. The primordial spirit great powers continuously hone themselves, accumulate mana, endure tribulation after tribulation, and transform themselves to enhance their underlying strength. Until crossing the 5th tribulation, the primordial spirit reaches a peak where attempts can be made to comprehend space law. Once there is success in comprehending space law, one's power undergoes a transformative change akin to an upheaval. For instance, one can develop the purple mana space within the body, increasing the quantity of one's mana by 100-fold. Moreover, one can manipulate space law to launch various unimaginable attacks. Generally, a primordial spirit realm cultivator who has comprehended space law is on a completely different level compared to one who hasn't. So back then in Zhoutian City, Lu Qing had some luck in successfully assassinating. If not for the circulation star array suppressing the space within Zhoutian City, making space Taoist skills unusable, Lu Qing probably wouldn't have been able to toy with the ancestors of the Gongsu family at that time. The reason why I could slay true Martial King and Elder Xing, who were peak 4 tribulation primordial spirits right after crossing the heavenly tribulation and achieving primordial spirit. It was because of the deep foundation accumulated before crossing the tribulation, making it so that once I broke through, the power of my gray mana didn't yield at all to the peak of 4 tribulation. It even compares to the mana of a 5 tribulation primordial spirit that hasn't comprehended space law. And with my multiple cultivation methods, holding numerous trump cards, naturally true Martial King and others were not my opponents. After comprehending the Taoist chapter, Lu Qing also gained a more accurate grasp of his own power. At the same time, he also formed a general direction for his next cultivation steps. After entering the primordial spirit realm, the perfect golden core skill had been cultivated to its limit. Next, what he needed to do was strive to develop the subsequent primordial spirit technique. Originally, Lu Qing had little clue about the primordial spirit technique. But now, guided by the Taoist chapter, he had quite a bit of inspiration. After entering the primordial spirit realm, for Lu Qing, the gray mana within the Dantian Qi was undoubtedly crucial. This strange mana was the power formed by the fusion of his 3 cultivation paths. As long as the power of the gray mana increased, it would drive the enhancement of his overall capability. According to the Taoist chapter's records, much like the golden core realm, the primordial spirit realm also possesses the perfect primordial spirit. And the primordial spirit I condensed is clearly a perfect primordial spirit, even stronger than the perfect primordial spirit described in the Taoist chapter. Just like the perfect golden core, the ultimate limit of the perfect primordial spirit is not the 9 tribulation primordial spirit, but the 12 tribulation primordial spirit. So the primordial spirit technique I need to create next should also be the perfect primordial spirit technique. With thoughts on the various descriptions of the primordial spirit realm in the Taoist chapter, Lu Qing felt clearer in his mind. My next cultivation direction is to utilize superpower to merge the various primordial spirit realm techniques I possess, along with the undying heavenly witch body and the divine talisman sex divine soul cultivation method. Then, referring to the primordial spirit chapter of the Taoist chapter, basing cultivation on the gray mana, create the perfect primordial spirit technique most suitable for myself. Ultimately, Lu Qing made a decision in his heart. His cultivation path was too unique. Across the entire cultivation history, it's rare for someone to cultivate multiple paths simultaneously like him, which meant he was destined to find difficulty in discovering techniques that perfectly matched him for cultivation. The best approach was to create his own techniques. With the help of superpower, combining the strengths of 100 schools, to create the primordial spirit method most suited to him. Fortunately, he already had experience in creating the perfect golden core skill, providing him with some confidence for the upcoming perfect primordial spirit technique. As determined, Lu Qing instructed little Li with a few words and then secluded himself to attempt creating the perfect primordial spirit technique. Lu Qing's current foundation, whether in terms of insight or understanding of cultivation, actually surpassed most primordial spirit great powers. After all, back when he slew many primordial spirit realm cultivators during the battle at Tianshu Divine Mountain, he obtained numerous primordial spirit realm techniques from their storage magical treasures. Previously, to create the perfect golden core skill, he comprehended those primordial spirit techniques multiple times. Now, in creating a technique guided by the Taoist chapter, it was even easier than when he created the perfect golden core skill's final third transition. It took only a few days before Lu Qing had many inspirations for the first tribulation technique of the perfect primordial spirit technique, laying out the general framework. After establishing the framework, he just needed to slowly supplement various details, and this first tribulation technique would be truly completed. However, after setting up the framework, Lu Qing chose to temporarily end his seclusion. In the journey of cultivation, alternating between tension and relaxation ensures longevity, so he planned to relax before adding the subsequent details. Removing the array set up around him, Lu Qing observed little Li and the white flood dragon playing around. As for the 5 elements, it stood aside watching, not daring to participate at all. Soon Lu Qing noticed an anomaly. The body of the white flood dragon had shrunk considerably. The originally 1 zhang thick body now only the size of a small arm. Xiao Bai, have you learned body transformation technique? Lu Qing asked. Ah Qing, you've come out of seclusion. Little Li, who was playing, jumped over immediately upon seeing Lu Qing emerge. As for the white flood dragon, it hesitantly remained in place. Yes, master, in the past few days, Little Li taught me a body transformation technique, and I have just begun practicing it. Yes, Ah Qing, I taught Xiao by some basic transformations from True Dragon 9 transformations. It learned quickly, in just a few days it can freely control its body size. Compared to that wretched snake, its talent is much better. Little Li immediately boasted to Lu Qing, not forgetting to insult the 5 elements. The initially happy 5 elements, upon seeing Lu Qing come out of seclusion, couldn't help but tense up. The white flood dragon felt even more uneasy. After practicing the transformation technique taught by Little Li, it deeply understood just how exquisite the technique was. It was even more astonished to find that the transformation technique also had a refining effect on its internal bloodline. Without exaggeration, if the technique's effects were known to the Serpent Dragon clan, it would definitely cause a massive sensation. At all costs they might attempt to seize it, and Little Li transmitted such a precious technique to it without Lu Qing's permission. This made the white flood dragon incredibly anxious, uncertain if Lu Qing would become angry because of it. Xiao Bai is originally from the Serpent Dragon clan, and its body similarly contains the true dragon bloodline. Combined with its realm being higher than the 5 elements, it is normal to quickly master True Dragon 9 transformations. Contrary to surprise, Lu Qing didn't react as the white flood dragon feared, but rather smiled. Ah Qing, since Xiao Bai's talent is so good, can I teach it the complete True Dragon 9 transformations? Little Li asked with a grin. Lu Qing had no objections. True Dragon 9 transformations is a technique bestowed upon you by that senior. Since they haven't imposed any restrictions, you can choose to teach whomever you like as you wish. Little Li immediately smiled. That's good. I was afraid Ah Ching you wouldn't agree. Now I'll teach Xiao by the complete first transformation. No worries, soon I'll be in seclusion for some more time. You can pass the technique on to Xiao Bai. The white flood dragon, lying on the ground listening to little Li and Lu Qing's conversation, suddenly found their minds bewildered. Firstly, it hadn't expected that what little Li had taught them was such an exquisite transformation technique. Wasn't even the complete technique. Secondly, Lu Qing actually readily agreed for little Li to pass on the technique. It's worth noting that until now, Lu Qing hadn't placed any enslavement mark on it. Did the master not fear that after learning the technique, it would secretly run away? By the way, Ah Qing, when you come out of seclusion this time, can we go home? Little Li, unaware of its friend's astonishment, continued asking Lu Qing. Yes, after I come out of seclusion. Lu Qing was about to nod when suddenly his expression changed. With no time to say anything, instinctively with a wave of hand, he placed little Li, 5 elements, and the white flood dragon into the leaving fire tripod. At the very instant when their silhouettes had just disappeared, the ceiling above suddenly shattered. Unbelievably dazzling light completely enveloped Lu Qing. The entire cave swiftly melted. Even the entire mountain peak where the cave resided, in the instant shattered, exploded entirely. The cave where Lu Qing was located was suddenly attacked. From the outside, a gigantic beam of light descended from the sky, enveloping the entire mountain. Instantly, the whole mountain exploded with a roar, and a large number of rocks and trees were vaporized in an instant. In just a few breaths, the massive mountain had disappeared without a trace, leaving only a huge crater in its place. As the light beam gradually dissipated, 8 figures suddenly appeared above the crater, looking down. Is he dead? Not sure. I haven't sensed his aura. He's not dead. Although that beast's bloodline sensing has weakened, I can still feel it below. Even the Hao Ri realm can't kill this demon with a single strike? How strong is his defense? Perhaps he has some defensive treasure on him. In any case, be careful. This demon is exceptionally cunning. Don't let him escape. Humph. We spent so long locking down the space within 1,000 miles, plus the suppression of the 10 direction pillars. If he still manages to escape, I'll admit he truly has great skills. Regardless, caution is best. We caught him off guard this time to find his hiding spot. If he escapes and realizes what's going on, it will be hard to trace his whereabouts again. There's movement. That demon is trying to escape underground. Humph. With the 10 direction pillars suppressing, he's got no chance of escaping today. The 8 powerful figures communicated through their primordial spirit thoughts. They were the Vice Hall Masters of the Holy Alliance and several Demon Kings. There was an additional Demon King on the Demon Clan side compared to the previous day, and the Holy Alliance had one more Taoist. The Taoist suddenly snorted coldly and cast a spell. Immediately, the spatial power surged. The ground below roiled and flowed, finally condensing as hard as refined steel, trapping the aura trying to escape below. Bang! The ground was frozen, making it difficult to travel quickly. The earth suddenly cracked open, and a figure appeared on the surface, none other than Lu Qing. The gazes of the 8 powerful figures in the sky immediately focused on Lu Qing. The current situation of Lu Qing did not look optimistic. His body was covered in scars, like a wax figure half melted, looking rather miserable. However, after Lu Qing appeared, the wounds on his body began healing rapidly. In just a few breaths, he had basically recovered to his original state. Seeing such powerful recovery ability, the eyes of those 7 or 8 strong figures involuntarily narrowed, especially the Demon Kings, who were even more surprised. To be hit by the Hao Ri realm's attack, not only did he not turn to ash, but he fully recovered so quickly. The vitality of this demon was so formidable, it was even more terrifying than these Demon Kings. On the ground, as Lu Qing was healing his injuries, he looked coldly at the many strong figures above. He was pondering where he had overlooked being found so easily. After all, after cultivating his primordial spirit, his inherent ability to be illusory and unfixed hadn't disappeared. Plus, the various spiritual artifacts on him should have shielded him from any causality or celestial computations, so these people shouldn't have been able to deduce his whereabouts. Similarly, Little Li and the five elements were the same. Not only did they have spiritual artifacts, but they also cultivated the true Dragon 9 transformations and had minimal contact with outsiders. It shouldn't have been easy to deduce their whereabouts either. Given this, there was only one possibility. Lu Qing's gaze finally fell on one figure above. It was a middle-aged man with white jade horns, a face with some scales, and a dragon tail behind him. Lu Qing immediately used his superpower to probe his information. Demon, I didn't expect you to be so lucky. Even the flame extinction divine light of the Hao Ri realm couldn't kill you. But today, no matter how cunning you are, you must die here to avenge my disciple. In the sky above, the Taoist looked at Lu Qing and shouted coldly. The other 7 powerful figures similarly glared coldly at Lu Qing. However, they did not rush to make a move. Now the space within 1,000 miles had been locked and suppressed by the 10 direction pillars. Even if this demon had a space treasure, he couldn't use it anymore, making him like a turtle in a jar. Thus, these powerful figures were not in a hurry to capture him. They wanted to enjoy watching his despair. At this time, Lu Qing had also probed the information of the middle-aged man with white jade horns. I see. So it's the 5 Tribulation Demon King of the Serpent Clan, discovered Xiao Bai's position through the bloodline sensing technique. Lu Qing finally understood where the problem lay. The middle-aged man with white jade horns was the current clan leader of the Serpent Clan, a 5 Tribulation Demon King who had comprehended spatial power. The Serpent Clan naturally shared the same bloodline. This Serpent Clan leader had used the bloodline's secret technique to sense Xiao Bai's location and thereby pinpoint Lu Qing's position. Lu Qing was unaware that the Serpent Clan possessed such a bloodline secret technique, leading to a slip-up and eventually falling into this trap, if not for his formidable physical body and boundless vitality. Before achieving his primordial spirit during the tribulation, that single strike might have led to his death and total demise. However, though he withstood that strike and had rapidly healed his injuries, the current situation was still not optimistic. Because at the moment of the attack, Lu Qing attempted to use the teleportation Jade Talisman to escape, but found that the surrounding space had been locked by formations, rendering the teleportation Jade Talisman unusable. Even if he wanted to leave from underground, the ground chi within a 1,000-mile radius was also under the opponent's control, greatly restricting his movements. Clearly, the opponent had made ample preparations before launching their attack, leaving him no chance to escape. Of course, the space of this world, though suppressed, was not absolute. If Lu Qing used the void ship, he should be able to forcibly break through space and traverse the void to escape. However, this required time to prepare, and clearly the 8-5 Tribulation Great Powers above would not give him such an opportunity. Furthermore, he did not know whether the leaving fire tripod could completely block the mysterious bloodline sensing secret technique of the Serpent Clan, or what the sensing limit distance was. So even if he managed to escape by luck, it would not necessarily be safe, as he could be chased down immediately. This time, I'm truly in a desperate situation. Lu Qing couldn't help but sigh inwardly. He knew that this was the most dangerous situation he had encountered since leaving his homeland world. The only way to escape now was probably that trump card. However, since he was going to use his true trump card, he couldn't just leave so easily. He had to leave a surprise for these old folks, or it would be a waste of that trump card. Various thoughts flashed through Lu Qing's mind like lightning and finally converged into a strong fighting spirit. Lu Qing looked up at the 8 powerful figures above and suddenly laughed loudly. Haha, you all must think highly of me. 8-5 Tribulation Primordial Spirit Great Powers joining forces to set up an array to capture a mere initial realm primordial spirit like me. When this is spread, I, Lu, will surely become famous around the world. Evil demon, there is no need to waste time with tricks and incitement. No matter how eloquent you are, it is useless today. You have cruelly harmed many great powers and talented disciples of both the human and demon clans. Such vicious means cannot be tolerated by heaven and earth. If you are wise, surrender now. If there is any resistance, We will obliterate your form and spirit, never to be reborn. The Taoist frowned and spoke with a thunderous voice that rolled down from above. The gazes of the other 7 figures grew colder, and their auras surged. It seemed that if Lu Qing showed even a hint of resistance, they would suppress and crush him immediately. They all knew that this evil demon was extremely cunning, and only by using the most thunderous means could he be completely suppressed. Is that so? Lu Qing felt the mountainous pressure on him, but there was no fear in his eyes, only feverish fighting intent. With a movement of his hand, a golden rod suddenly appeared in it. Then, shaking his body, he grew rapidly, transforming into a giant over 100 feet tall. The golden long rod in his hand also became as large as a mountain pillar. Let me see what you can do to me. Lu Qing's entire body emanated a ferocious aura, like an ancient giant, his voice booming like a huge bell. The aura of this evil demon, even knowing from Xing Jian's memories that Lu Qing could transform into a giant. But when Lu Qing truly manifested the true witch body, the 8-5 tribulation great powers couldn't help but feel shocked, because the aura emanating from Lu Qing was truly terrifying. Even if several demon kings manifested their true forms, their aura might not surpass his. Is this evil demon really just a primordial spirit initial realm? For a moment, all the 5 tribulation primordial spirits couldn't help but have this thought. And the few demon kings particularly stared at the golden giant rod in Lu Qing's hand with killing intent. That's the heaven-supporting rod of the true martial king. He indeed fell to you. A demon king resembling a white ape showed a look of murder. Are you talking about that monkey? Yes, I personally crushed him, Lu Qing said indifferently. Though the true martial king died from Elder Xing's primordial spirit self-detonation, to provoke the opponent, Lu Qing didn't mind telling a small lie. Sure enough, upon hearing Lu Qing's words, the white ape was completely enraged. His sense of murder pinpointed exactly, and his eyes turned red. Evil demon, you're courting death. The moment the words fell, the white ape demon king's body expanded, transforming into a massive white ape several tens of feet tall, charging from above towards Lu Qing, aiming a foot at his head. This step created spatial ripples, with boundless power stacking beneath the white ape demon king's foot. If it wasn't for the space being suppressed 1,000 miles by 10 columns, the space would have been torn apart, unleashing a chaotic storm by now. White Ape King. The great powers among the human race saw the white ape demon king charging down and were shocked, wanting to stop him. However, they were stopped by the elephant king with a hand. Hold on, let the white ape king test the depth of this evil demon first. The true martial king was the most outstanding junior of his clan. Having fallen to this evil demon, if we don't let the white ape king vent, he might really go mad. The human race great powers stopped in their tracks. However, the Vice Hall Master Wu of the Punishment Hall showed a trace of worry in his eyes. Before coming, they had clearly agreed that upon encountering the evil demon, they must join forces with thunderous means to suppress him, leaving no chance for a comeback. But upon reaching the battlefield, these demon kings had to act on their own accord, truly breaking the agreement. Beasts are beasts arrogant, simply not knowing what honor is. In Wu's heart grew dissatisfaction. And as the two clans' primordial spirits communicated, the white ape king's foot had already reached above Lu Qing's head. Ha! Come on! Faced with a strike that could shatter the earth from the white ape king, Lu Qing showed no fear. After a great laugh, the golden giant rod in his hand smashed, like piercing through a yellow dragon, towards the white ape king's foot. Boom! A sky-shattering explosion sounded across heaven and earth. The golden giant rod in Lu Qing's hand collided without flourish with the white ape king's right foot. Limitless power erupted, and visible shocks of energy swept across all directions. The ground beneath Lu Qing's feet crumbled, and between the two, space twisted constantly. The space suppressed by 10 columns showed signs of breaking apart. Damn it! The Taoist, seeing this, slightly changed his expression, and consecutively performed several spells into the 4 directions, stabilizing the surrounding space once more. After finishing, he breathed a sigh of relief. If this space were broken, the evil demon might seize the opportunity to escape. However, before his breath could completely relax, the Taoist's expression changed. For he saw below that the clash between the White Ape King and the evil demon only stalemated for less than a breath before the White Ape King could no longer hold on, sent flying upwards by the evil demon's rod. "Ha ha ha, old monkey. You dare engage me in close combat. I see you haven't died before." After sending the White Ape King flying and crushing the ground beneath his feet, Lu Qing laughed skyward. Then, without letting up, he shattered the earth with a stomp, his enormous body rising into the air, the golden giant rod raised high, and cleaving down at the White Ape King in midair. This strike seemed to change the colors of heaven and earth. After manifesting the true witch body, Lu Qing's power was strong enough to shatter space. Furthermore, the golden giant rod in his hand was a pure power-type middle-grade spiritual device. It had few functions, relying purely on violence, able to greatly enhance the wielder's power. So when Lu Qing landed this blow, even the 7-5 tribulation primordial spirits above changed colors. As for the White Ape King, he notably sensed a breath of death within Lu Qing's swing. "Evil demon, do not be arrogant." Faced with the breath of death, the White Ape King was utterly enraged. He hadn't expected to be suppressed in head-on confrontation by a primordial spirit initial realm evil demon. Disregarding holding his status, with a motion of the hand, a similarly appearing white rod emerged, blocking Lu Qing's falling golden giant rod. Boom! Yet another sky-shattering explosion occurred. Under the watchful eyes of the 7-5 tribulation primordial spirits, the White Ape King was blasted away by Lu Qing's rod, crashing into the ground, piercing the earth, and collapsing countless mountains. In a pure contest of strength, he actually couldn't match this evil demon? The Dharma body of this evil demon is so formidable. What kind of divine secret skill is this? It's merely at the primordial spirit initial realm, yet the sheer physical body possesses such power. No wonder you all feared him so greatly. Seeing Lu Qing strike down the White Ape King with a single stick, smashing through the earth. The 7 remaining 5 tribulation primordial spirits in the sky were all in shock. No one expected that in a pure clash of strength, the White Ape King would be completely overpowered by that evil demon. After knocking down the White Ape King with a stick, Lu Qing didn't relent, and with a quick turn, the golden giant stick in his hand rapidly elongated, thrusting towards the direction the White Ape King had fallen. Bang! The giant stick struck down, creating a huge crater that exploded open. The earth trembled like waves, countless giant stones and ancient trees were shaken into the sky, as if it was the end of the world. However, Lu Qing's stick did not hit the White Ape King. At the critical moment before the giant stick landed, the White Ape King leapt, narrowly avoiding the strike. He then shifted his body, appearing in front of Lu Qing, wielding his own giant white stick, which smashed towards Lu Qing as well. The next moment, the 2 giant figures engaged in battle on the ground. Each clash caused space to tremble, and the surrounding mountains shattered. In less than 10 breaths, the land within 100 miles was devastated. Numerous mountains were shattered, and the ground was full of deep pits from their steps. During the confrontation, the White Ape King was clearly at a disadvantage. In every clash between the 2 stick spiritual artifacts, the White Ape King was forced to retreat repeatedly. If not for his deep comprehension of the space law and more refined stick technique than Lu Qing's, he might have been completely overpowered by now. This evil demon's physical strength, even with just my physical body, would be hard to suppress. Watching the battle below, the Elephant King remarked with a somewhat grave expression. These words made the other great powers more alert. Who didn't know the strength of the Elephant King? Having entered the 5 tribulation realm for hundreds of years, he had already reached the pinnacle of the 5 tribulations. Not to mention his understanding of spatial power. The Elephant Clan was renowned for its formidable physical strength. Among those of the same realm, in terms of pure physical prowess, even the Serpent Clan was slightly inferior to the Elephant Clan. Thus, the terror of the Elephant King's physical body was evident. Even the Serpent King of the Serpent Clan might not match his pure physical strength. And now the Elephant King said that even with just his physical body, he would struggle to suppress that evil demon below. For a moment, all the great powers felt a chill in their hearts. At the same time, a thought resurfaced in their minds. Could this evil demon really have just recently crossed the tribulation and attained the primordial spirit? Interesting. This evil demon must harbor an immense secret. Wu He, as we agreed before, once you capture him, you must share his secrets with us. Otherwise, if you dare to double-cross us, don't blame us, Demon Clan, for siding with the Demon Clan and waging war against your human race. The Elephant King gazed with fervor at Lu Qing, battling the White Ape King below. He had a premonition that if they could obtain the secret from this evil demon, it would be a tremendous boon for their Demon Clan. The other Demon Kings naturally thought the same. Not to mention, if they could acquire this evil demon's Dharma body divine skill, their strength would surely soar. As a result, each of them fixated on the great powers of the human race. I knew it. This fence-sitting bunch can't be trusted. Feeling the pressuring gazes of several Demon Kings, Vice Hall Master Wu of the Punishment Hall grew more displeased. But he also understood that now wasn't the time for internal conflict. If those Demon Kings really switched sides to the Demon Clan, even he couldn't bear that responsibility. So, despite his dissatisfaction, Vice Hall Master Wu had to suppress his displeasure. With a smile, he said, "Naturally, that is our agreement and we wouldn't go back on it. But I think we should capture this evil demon quickly. The White Ape King should have vented enough, and with his power, unless we remove the 10 pillars to let him use spatial power. Otherwise, by himself, he clearly can't handle this evil demon." Then it's decided. The Elephant King smiled and was about to relay a message to the White Ape King. However, at that moment, things took a sudden turn. They heard another resounding clash that shook the space, with the White Ape King being pushed back several steps by a stick from Lu Qing. Then, with a swift swing of the golden staff in his hand, he struck at the unsteady White Ape King's head. The White Ape King, with a sullen expression, was about to dodge, but suddenly felt his body seize, with various illusions appearing before him. This is an illusion technique? Not good, break for me. The White Ape King was initially stunned, but quickly reacted, extremely shocked and angry. Shocked at how insidious this evil demon was, having kept a trump card after all this battling. Angry that his dignified 5 tribulation primordial spirit could be swayed by a small illusion technique. Ferociously, he shook his primordial spirit, clearing the illusion before him. But it was already too late. The White Ape King's reaction was fast, and his primordial spirit strong enough. Lu Qing's fully unleashed mistaken small divine power only ensnared his heart and spirit for 1/10 of a breath. But at their level of power, even 1/10 of a breath is considered lengthy. A momentary slip-up at times can be fatal. Furthermore, Lu Qing had prepared for this moment for a long time, aiming to catch the White Ape King off guard. So, as he performed, mistaken, the gray mana in the Dantian Qi Si within his body started surging vigorously, integrating into his physical body. In the acupoint at his forehead, the power of the primordial spirit also surged violently. With the dual support of mana and primordial spirit power, his physical body directly broke through its limits, stepping into another level with its might skyrocketing. The golden giant stick in his hand accelerated to an extreme in an instant, smashing towards the White Ape King's skull. By the time the White Ape King shattered the illusion and broke free from the control of the illusion technique, the golden giant stick was already above his skull. At this moment, the White Ape King had no way to dodge. Even the white long stick in his hand couldn't be lifted in time to block. Despite all kinds of divine communication techniques and innate means, he could only watch helplessly as the golden giant stick smashed at his skull. Boom! It all happened in an instant. The golden long stick in Lu Qing's hand, without any fancy flourish, smashed onto the White Ape King's skull. This strike was something Lu Qing had been planning for a long time, brewing from the moment he provoked the White Ape King to come down and fight. To maximize the might of the strike, he even activated the leaving fire tripod, and a mountain-sized ancient tripod phantom appeared behind him. This strike could be said to be Lu Qing's strongest strike since he attained his primordial spirit. And such a terrifying strike, even a 5 tribulation demon king like the White Ape King couldn't withstand at all. The moment the golden giant stick hit the White Ape King, his skull outright exploded. Even under the force shrouded by the stick, his physical body couldn't withstand it and likewise exploded. Just like that, under Lu Qing's machinations, the White Ape King was directly smashed by a stick. At the same moment the White Ape King's physical body exploded, an ancient tripod appeared, with its body suddenly expanding, becoming mountain-sized, its mouth opening, swallowing all the exploded flesh and blood of the White Ape King with a gobbling earth-swallowing force. What? The changes in the battle below were too fast, leaving the 7 primordial spirit great powers watching above with no time to react. They watched helplessly as Lu Qing smashed the White Ape King with one strike and then used the leaving fire tripod to swallow all the fragments of his physical body. This scene was too shocking, beyond everyone's expectations. It was not until the leaving fire tripod shrank back and fell into Lu Qing's hand that the numerous primordial spirit great powers in the sky finally reacted. Damn it! Immediately take action and rescue the White Ape King. This evil demon actually still hides a backhand. How did he do it? Stop talking and take action together. Let's suppress him first. The sudden changes made the numerous primordial spirit great powers both shocked and angry. The Elephant King was the first to act, with a phantom of a giant elephant as large as a mountain appearing behind him, raising its trunk and sweeping towards Lu Qing. Where the trunk phantom passed, the void twisted and spun. Even the space suppressed by the 10 directions pillars was trembled with fluctuations. At the moment the Elephant King took action, the other primordial spirit great powers also moved. Spells flowed from the Taoist's hands, merging into the 4 directions, and the space around Lu Qing instantly became like an iron board, firmly suppressing him in place. Vice Hall Master Wu then summoned a peerless flying sword, slashing towards Lu Qing. The King's Serpent then roared out an invisible divine soul fluctuation, sweeping the 4 directions. In an instant, numerous divine communication techniques and Taoist skills descended from the sky, crushing towards Lu Qing. What it looked like for 7 5-tribulation primordial spirits who had comprehended spatial power to take action together. The 10 directions pillars were already unable to maintain the stability of space, and the space was completely torn apart, with void storms emerging as if the world was about to be destroyed. Before the attacks landed, Lu Qing felt a massive terror arising in his heart, a genuine sense of impending death. He knew that if he took these attacks head-on, even if he survived, his true witch body would definitely be thoroughly exploded. In the current situation, once his physical body was blown apart, the consequences were unthinkable. Yet despite such terrifying attacks, Lu Qing's face still showed no fear. Instead, he tilted his head back with a brilliant smile, because just as he collected the blood and flesh of the White Ape King, his heart and spirit had already communicated with the simple and unadorned stone token lying in the Chenkuan Qi bag. A force beyond description had long enveloped him. What is this evil demon smiling about? Seeing the smile on Lu Qing's face, the many primordial spirit great powers above were all taken aback. Yet before they had time to comprehend the reason, they then witnessed an unbelievable scene. They saw their launched attacks, whether magical treasure Taoist techniques or innate divine skills, were completely obliterated the moment they approached Lu Qing. Indeed, obliterated. All the attacks, like illusions, were silently obliterated. Even the void storm separated on each side like light smoke brushing over a giant mountain, unable to touch Lu Qing in the slightest. How is this possible? All the primordial spirit great powers, their eyes widening directly, incredulously watching this scene. Ha 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 ha. Seeing the shock on the faces of the demon kings and human primordial spirits above, Lu Qing laughed long into the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, I will remember this favor of your siege today, and one day I will return to the heavenly origin great world. By then, I will repay today's favor tenfold. Not one of you will escape. Just wait for the day I return. As Lu Qing's words fell, his massive figure began to gradually become ghostly, as if slowly fading away from this world. Not good! Stop him! Seeing this, all the primordial spirit great powers' faces changed dramatically, and Vice Hall Master Wu shouted directly. The Taoist holding the 10 Directions pillars had long begun pinching spells, wanting to activate the surrounding spatial power to suppress Lu Qing. But soon his face turned grim. Can't stop him, the spatial power cannot touch him. How is this possible? The other primordial spirit great powers' hearts were greatly shaken. Then they saw the now almost transparent Lu Qing. Suddenly a simple stone token flew from his body, emitting a dim light, completely enveloping him. In the next moment, it turned into a ray of light, breaking through the space, drilling into the depths of the void. From start to finish, throughout the process, no matter how the Taoist activated the spatial power, he could completely not stop Lu Qing from leaving. The attempts of other primordial spirit great powers were equally futile. In the end, they could only watch as the stream of light Lu Qing transformed into left and disappeared, waiting for the space rift broken by the ancient stone token to slowly heal and completely dissipate. All the primordial spirit great powers fell into a dead silence. They still stared tightly at the spot where the space rift healed, unable to believe everything that just happened. It wasn't until a long time passed that the Elephant King spoke somewhat hoarsely. What kind of treasure is that stone token, that it can block all our attacks and even the spatial power cannot interfere with it? Don't know, but without a doubt, it must be an incredibly rare, unimaginable treasure. Otherwise this evil demon wouldn't have waited until the last moment to wield it. The Taoist in charge of the 10 Directions pillars shook his head. The White Ape King was captured by that evil demon. He's likely doomed. The Horse King said with a very unpleasant expression. With these words, all the great powers were silent again. They didn't even need to think about it. With the cunning of that evil demon and all sorts of strange means, the severely injured White Ape King falling into his hands was unlikely to be spared. Thinking about how they mobilized 8-5 tribulation primordial spirits together, even setting an ambush in advance, sealing and suppressing space. The result was 1-5 tribulation primordial spirit seriously injured, life or death unknown. And their target for killing was unscathed and escaped. Such a result, how could they possibly accept it? King Serpent, can you still sense the whereabouts of that white serpent? After a while, the Elephant King suddenly asked. No. King Serpent shook his head. Since just now, I've already been using the Bloodline secret technique, but that little beast, it's like it has already left this world, and I can't sense its whereabouts at all. Seeing the last glimmer of hope gone, the faces of the numerous primordial spirit great powers grew even more unsightly. Upon hearing the King Serpent say that the White Serpent seems to no longer be in this realm, he recalled what Lu Qing said before leaving, that one day he would return to the heavenly origin great world. The group of great powers knew that the evil demon might have truly escaped from the heavenly origin great world. They no longer had any possibility to track his whereabouts. For a moment, the expressions of all the great powers turned extremely ugly. No one expected that with their alliance of 8 great 5 tribulation primordial spirits, this would be the outcome. Wu He, what should we do next? After a long silence among the primordial spirit great powers, the Elephant King finally spoke. What else can we do? Go back and prepare early. That evil demon said he would come back. With the talent and potential he has shown, when he returns, he will definitely be more powerful than now. Next time we meet, it will either be his death or our survival. Vice Hall Master Wu said angrily, his mood extremely poor. In his heart, the reason this operation turned out like this was all because of these demon kings ruining things. If they had acted as agreed upon initially, and joined forces the moment they met to suppress and capture that evil demon, not giving him the chance to use magical treasures, none of this would have happened. But now, such a great opportunity was forcibly wasted by this foolish group of demon kings, truly a case of losing both the woman and the troops. Fortunately, the one they lost this time was the White Ape King. If it were a great power on their human race side, he would really lose his mind. Sensing the displeasure in Vice Hall Master Wu's tone, Several demon kings were naturally aware, but at this moment, they didn't have the time to argue because what the other party said made their hearts tremble. Indeed, that evil demon now merely crossed the heavenly tribulation, his realm just the primordial spirit initial realm, and he already managed to explode the White Ape King. Although this was partly due to the White Ape King's carelessness, it also fully demonstrated that the evil demon's strength had already become a real threat to them. Simply at the primordial spirit initial realm, having such strength, the evil demon's potential is truly unimaginable. If given enough time, no one knows to what extent he could grow. And such a potential enemy with an unknown growth limit, hiding in the shadows, could return seeking revenge at any moment. Just thinking about it made several demon kings feel a terrifying sensation lingering in their hearts, causing some tremors deep inside. Looking at the fearful expressions of several demon kings, Vice Hall Master Wu felt a rush of pleasure inside. However, he did not show it, instead saying solemnly, "So now the only plan is for us both to cooperate. We don't know when that evil demon will return for revenge, but this is also our opportunity. As long as he dares to appear, we have the chance to surround and kill him again. But this requires us to plan thoroughly. We must not be like this time, working separately, like loose sand, giving that evil demon the chance to escape." Upon hearing this, the faces of several demon kings involuntarily flushed. They also knew that the reason this operation failed was primarily due to their side. The Elephant King pondered for a moment, then spoke. "Wu He, according to you, how should we cooperate? This matter is not trivial, we need to discuss it thoroughly. Although that evil demon escaped this time, he exposed quite a few abilities. As long as we prepare adequately, next time he will definitely have no escape." While the primordial spirit great powers were discussing anew how to deal with Lu Qing in the future. On the other side, in the trial secret realm left by the supreme being of the Witch Clan, a few mutant beasts emitting Foundation Establishment realm auras were foraging. Suddenly, as if sensing something, they all lay down, trembling, watching overhead. Just then, above those mutant beasts, a spatial vortex suddenly appeared, and a stream of light flew out, landing on the ground, revealing the figure of Lu Qing. At this moment, Lu Qing had stopped manifesting the true witch body, and his form returned to its usual size. Upon landing, he did not pay attention to the nearby Foundation Establishment realm mutant beasts, but instead immediately summoned the Leaving Fire tripod. Because just now, when he had just escaped into the void, Yen had already transmitted his voice to him. "Master, that White Ape King is too strong. We're nearly unable to suppress him." Simultaneously, Lu Qing also felt that a powerful energy was continuously erupting within the Leaving Fire tripod, seemingly ready to break free. Without a word, he directly allowed the Leaving Fire tripod to transform into the size of a mountain, settling on the ground, then became a stream of light himself, entering the interior of the Leaving Fire tripod. And just as Lu Qing flew into the Leaving Fire tripod, in a certain mysterious space within the secret realm, a consciousness also noted the commotion over here. It's the fluctuation of the teleportation stone plate left by that great one. Has the young one returned? The mysterious presence immediately realized it was Lu Qing who had returned to the secret realm using the teleportation stone plate. It's only been a short while, yet he used a life-preserving opportunity already. What crisis could this young one have encountered that he couldn't handle? The mysterious presence cast its consciousness over, intending to see what was happening, just in time to see Lu Qing transform into a stream of light and enter the Leaving Fire tripod. This young one doesn't seem injured. No, his aura. Lu Qing was unaware that the mysterious presence within the secret realm had already noticed over here. Upon entering the Leaving Fire tripod, he saw a giant white ape roaring towards the sky within the spiritual artifact space. Its palms waved powerfully, causing the spiritual artifact space to tremble incessantly. A massive flaming chi dragon was coiled above it, doing its utmost to stabilize the entire spiritual artifact space. As for Little Li and the 5 elements, they had already hidden in a corner. The scene before them was not something they could interfere with at all. Little reptile, a mere artifact spirit like you can't trap me. Watch how I shatter this spiritual artifact space. The White Ape King roared, clapping his palms together violently, causing the entire spiritual artifact space to shake again, along with Yen's body twisting, as if it was about to collapse. Damn it, as expected of a great power who has begun to comprehend the laws of space. If it weren't for the master blasting him once, damaging his origin, his power would have greatly diminished. Just this one hit might have dispersed my body and broken open the spiritual artifact space to escape. Right? Feeling the power of this strike from the White Ape King, Yen showed fear in its eyes. Even with his strength diminished, every disturbance of space by the White Ape King caused considerable harm. If it weren't the artifact spirit of the Leaving Fire Tripod, which had complete control over this spiritual artifact space, it might have long lost control of this space to the White Ape King, who would have then reverse suppressed it. Yet, although severely injured, Yen persisted, striving to maintain the stability of the spiritual artifact space, not allowing the White Ape King to escape, because it knew that Lu Qing had used his trump card and escaped right under the noses of those 7 primordial spirit realm experts. Once he has a free hand, it would be the White Ape King's time to die. Little reptile, why are you persisting? Do you still hope for your master to come to your aid? Aha, it's useless. Even if he temporarily trapped me here through despicable means, he won't stand a chance against the Elephant King and the others. If you're wise, you'll let me go. When your master is captured, perhaps I could plead with the Elephant King and the others not to refine you, little artifact spirit. Seeing Yen still persisting, the White Ape King laughed, extremely arrogant in his aura. While struggling more fiercely, he also kept shouting loudly, trying to shake Yen's heart and spirit with words. However, Yen was unmoved, summoning its last ounce of strength, determined to trap the White Ape King to its death. But as the White Ape King kept disturbing the space, Yen was reaching its limit. Just as it felt it could no longer hold on, the suppressive power within the spiritual artifact space suddenly increased more than tenfold, instantly freezing the White Ape King in place. Then a voice echoed, "As expected of the 5 Tribulation Demon King, even after I blew your physical body apart once, you still possess such strength." Master! Seeing Lu Qing appear in the spiritual artifact space, Yen was overjoyed. Once it relaxed, the Qi Dragon Dharma aspect could no longer be maintained, disintegrating and returning to human form beside Lu Qing, its aura significantly weakened. Ah Qing! In the corner of the space, little Li and the others ran over joyfully. Since Lu Qing had trapped the Ape Demon King in the Leaving Fire Tripod, they hadn't known what had happened outside nor what transpired afterward. Seeing Lu Qing safe now, they finally felt at ease. Only the White Ape King showed a look of disbelief upon seeing Lu Qing, because he discovered that Lu Qing had entered physically, not as a divine soul avatar. Evil demon, how did you get in here? And where are the Elephant King and the others? In shock, the White Ape King couldn't help but roar. They've naturally been left behind by me. White Monkey, don't hope that anyone will rescue you now. From here on, it's your time to die, Lu Qing said calmly. Impossible. Under the ceiling of the 10 direction pillars, there's no way you could have escaped from the Elephant King and the others. The White Ape King's face was full of disbelief, shouting loudly. Nothing is impossible. Even you, a dignified 5 Tribulation primordial spirit, were blown apart by a single strike from me. Now, meet your end. Lu Qing did not waste more words. A golden long staff appeared in his hand, manifesting the true witch body, advancing directly to kill the White Ape King. Seeing Lu Qing charging fiercely, the White Ape King could no longer ponder how Lu Qing physically entered the spiritual artifact space. He could only raise his palms, suddenly extending his claws to strike the golden long staff. His white long staff artifact during the earlier explosion of his body had already been dropped. Additionally, with the space within the artifact under Lu Qing's control, he couldn't perform any space shifting. He could only rely on his Demon King body to withstand Lu Qing's golden long staff. Boom! The body of the Five Tribulation Demon King was indeed formidable, comparable to a spiritual artifact. The White Ape King's claws barely managed to block a normal strike from Lu Qing's true witch body. But as Lu Qing fused mana into his physical body, delivering another strike, the White Ape King's claws couldn't withstand it anymore, directly getting blasted apart by a strike. Then Lu Qing's staff moved in a continuous cascade, attacking the White Ape King repeatedly, blasting his physical body apart once more. Damn it! After his body was blown apart, in less than 2 moments' breath, the White Ape King reformed his physical body. However, his face appeared extremely ugly. In this spiritual artifact space, he couldn't manipulate the spatial power at all. Under the suppression of the spiritual artifact space, he found it difficult to maneuver, and could only withstand Lu Qing's attacks in place. But at this moment, he had no weapon in hand, and relying solely on his physical body, he couldn't withstand Lu Qing's rod strike. At this moment, a trace of panic finally crept into the White Ape King's heart. If this evil demon wasn't lying, he indeed had already broken free from the Elephant King's crowd. Wouldn't that mean, given the current predicament, he was undoubtedly going to die? Bang! While the White Ape King was anxious, Lu Qing showed no intention to halt his assault. The golden long rod in his hand struck again, detonating the White Ape King's physical body once more. Seeing the White Ape King recompose his body yet again, Lu Qing chuckled lightly. I wonder how many times your essence can reconstitute your body. Following his words, he swung his rod again, exploding the White Ape King's physical body. Yet Lu Qing couldn't help but sigh inside. The Five Tribulation primordial spirit is indeed troublesome, especially after comprehending a trace of space law. The primordial spirit is incredibly resilient, possessing a hint of the immortal attribute, and able to merge with the physical body, infusing every inch of flesh with his divine soul will. It's precisely because of this, the White Ape King could reform his physical body after being shattered so many times. If not for his schemes, having swallowed him into the leaving fire tripod, with the spiritual artifact space suppressing him. If it were outside, the White Ape King could even directly use the space-shifting technique to escape, making it even harder to kill him. Therefore, among the Demon Clan, stepping into the Five Tribulations and comprehending spatial power, they could be called kings and not without reason. Because a powerhouse reaching this realm is exceedingly hard to kill. Even when facing multiple foes of the same realm in a siege, if they can't win, they can still flee. Unless arrangements were made in advance to seal the space, otherwise, for those in the Five Tribulation realm, mutual killings are nearly impossible. Thinking this, the coldness in Lu Qing's eyes intensified. With the White Ape King's carelessness, being swallowed by him into the leaving fire tripod was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So he must annihilate him here, thoroughly cutting off one of the Demon Clan's arms. With a loud explosion, the White Ape King was blown apart for the 4th time by Lu Qing. He sensed that this time the White Ape King's reconstitution speed had clearly slowed. This didn't take Lu Qing by surprise. A trace of the immortal attribute doesn't denote true immortality. Every time the White Ape King was shattered by him, he needed to expend his essence to reconstitute his physical body. Once the essence is depleted to a certain extent, that would be his true time of death. In the following time, it would be a continual descent into hell for the White Ape King. Lu Qing kept shattering his physical body repeatedly, each reconstitution weakening his essence aura by a fraction. Finally, after Lu Qing shattered the White Ape King's physical body for the 10th time, this Five Tribulation Demon King finally despaired. He waited so long, yet no rescue came from the Elephant King's crowd. He immediately understood that the evil demon was likely telling the truth. He truly had broken free from the Elephant King's suppression to come in and deal with him. Though he couldn't fathom how Lu Qing managed to do it, he knew dwelling on it was pointless. Because if his physical body was shattered once or twice more, he wouldn't be able to reconstitute it anymore. Understanding this, the White Ape King's gaze turned decisively. Evil demon, you won this time, but don't be smug. One day, the Elephant King will settle this score for me. After saying this, A sudden destructive aura appeared on the White Ape King's body. Primordial spirit self-destruct? Lu Qing sensed this aura and immediately understood what was happening. But learning from Elder Xing's previous lesson, he had long been prepared for this move. He directly manipulated the leaving fire tripod, just as the White Ape King was about to self-destruct, throwing him out. Bang! A resonating shock rang through the secret realm, echoing in the trial's secret realm. The White Ape King's explosion directly stirred up an energy storm in the secret realm, sweeping across the land. Fortunately, Lu Qing, at the last moment, threw it into the high skies of the secret realm space. The space rules of the Witch Clan's trial secret realm are already extremely stagnant. They are much more stable than the heavenly origin great world. Even the self-detonation of a 5 tribulation primordial spirit struggles to tear it apart. Therefore, although the White Ape King's self-detonation caused an energy storm in the secret realm, it gradually dissipated, without significantly impacting the entire secret realm space. Is this a primordial spirit self-detonation? The mysterious entity, who had been observing the commotion, saw this scene and was slightly shocked. Judging by the intensity of the explosion, it's not an ordinary primordial spirit realm, at least a veteran primordial spirit who has withstood 5 tribulations. In such a short time, that little fellow can already confront such powerful figures and even force him to self-detonate. What exactly has he been doing during his time outside? Recalling the fleeting aura he sensed from Lu Qing earlier, the mysterious entity's curiosity was piqued completely. Having lived for countless years, the passage of time barely registered for him. In his perception, Lu Qing was out for only a brief period. Yet now, he could confront a 5 tribulation primordial spirit and even force him to self-detonate. The mysterious entity was deeply curious about what Lu Qing had experienced while he was away. When the energy storm finally subsided, Lu Qing suddenly appeared, then promptly put away the leaving fire tripod. Only at this moment did he assess the surrounding situation. From the familiar sense of spatial stagnation, he knew he had truly returned to the trial's secret realm. Moreover, he was not far from the trial witch tower, as he had already glimpsed that section of the tower's tip in the distance. Lu Qing couldn't help but sigh. What a divine treasure crafted by a supreme great power, allowing him to leave confidently amidst joint attacks from 7 5 tribulation primordial spirit great powers. Just then, a voice echoed in his mind. Little fellow, I never imagined that in such a brief time, you've achieved the primordial spirit. If you're not in a rush, come visit me for a chat, old guy here. It's the senior's voice. Upon hearing this, Lu Qing immediately straightened up and respectfully bowed. Yes, senior. Then he flew toward the trial witch tower. Lu Qing wasn't surprised that the mysterious entity detected his return. After all, this being had once transported him directly from the secret realm to outside Tianshu Divine Mountain. Clearly, he possessed significant control over the trial's secret realm. With Lu Qing's current strength, he could freely fly within the secret realm space. The oppressive force of the sky was now like a gentle breeze to him, without causing any hindrance. Soon enough, Lu Qing arrived outside the trial witch tower. On the plain outside the tower, those 36 mutant beasts still stood. But seemingly due to the aura of the stone token on Lu Qing, this time, as he approached the trial witch tower, the beasts did not awaken, allowing him to enter the tower smoothly. Entering the witch tower, Lu Qing felt a blur in front of him, followed by spatial fluctuations, and in the next instant, he appeared in a mysterious space. Lu Qing fixed his gaze, recognizing it as the space where he once absorbed the essence liquid. Little fellow, I never thought you'd achieve the primordial spirit in such a short time. Really worthy of passing the trial set by the Great Lord. Where's little Li? Didn't he return with you? The mysterious voice sounded again. Lu Qing sensed it and released little Li, 5 elements, and the white flood dragon from the leaving fire tripod. You guys, quickly greet the senior. 5 elements and the white flood dragon were still somewhat dazed, but little Li immediately realized what was happening. He promptly raised his paw, greeting the void bee. Little Li greets the senior. The white flood dragon and 5 elements, though unaware of the situation, followed to salute the void. Haha, little fellow, you're not bad either. Your cultivation has progressed quite a bit. Clearly you haven't been lazing about these years. What stage have you reached in the True Dragon 9 transformations? I've cultivated to the 3rd transformation. Little Lee responded dutifully. The 3rd transformation, huh? Quite impressive. Given that the True Dragon bloodline within you isn't very potent, achieving the 3rd transformation so quickly shows commendable insight. The mysterious entity seemed satisfied. Then he glanced at 5 elements and white flood dragon, continuing, "And what about these 2 little fellows? Senior, these 2 are also my spiritual pets," Lu Qing explained. "I sense within them what seems to be true dragon bloodline." Indeed, 5 elements and Xiao Bai both contain true dragon bloodline within. Senior, I imparted the True Dragon 9 transformations you taught me to 5 elements and Xiao Bai. You're not upset, are you? Little Li seized the moment to say. As I told you before, once I teach you the True Dragon 9 transformations, you may pass it on to whoever you wish without seeking my approval. The mysterious voice spoke kindly. Little Li stuck out his tongue. I just didn't want to anger you, Senior. Haha, this cultivation technique is of no use kept with me. Your mastering it prevents its loss, which is indeed a good thing. Upon hearing this from the mysterious entity, Little Lee finally felt relieved. Thank you, Senior. The 5 elements and white flood dragon finally understood what was happening. The one who had just spoken was the mysterious being who granted Little Lee the True Dragon 9 transformations. Immediately, they again respectfully expressed their congratulations. Ha ha ha. It's been a long time since my place has been this lively. Tell me, little ones, what have you experienced since you went out? Senior, it's like this. Lu Qing noticed that this mysterious senior might enjoy chatting, probably due to having spent a long time in this secret realm. Immediately, he chose some of his experiences after leaving to recount. Due to being unable to match the 7-5 tribulation primordial spirits, I had to resort to a plan. After capturing a 5 tribulation demon king, I used the teleportation stone plate you gave me to escape back into the secret realm. After listening to Lu Qing's recount, the mysterious being remained silent for a long time. After a while, he finally spoke with a slightly wavering tone. You're saying that upon achieving the primordial spirit, you could already engage in direct combat with the 5 tribulation primordial spirits and even forced a 5 tribulation demon king to self-detonate his primordial spirit? There was a lot of luck involved. If those great primordial spirits hadn't tried to be clever by suppressing the space with a big array, I wouldn't have managed to outsmart the White Ape King. What Lu Qing said wasn't mere humility but the truth. Before the Elephant King and others launched a sneak attack, they deliberately used a big array to suppress the space within a 1,000-mile radius to prevent him from using teleportation treasures to escape. This indeed rendered his teleportation jade talisman useless, and even the void ship couldn't be deployed immediately. However, this space suppression also prevented all the 5 tribulation primordial spirit great powers, except the Taoist presiding over the 10 direction pillars formation, from freely manipulating space. And this was the main reason why Lu Qing managed to capture the White Ape King. Without the support of spatial power, the White Ape King was like having his arms broken off. His Demon King form was no match for Lu Qing's true witch body, resulting in Lu Qing finding an opportunity to destroy his physical body. One could say that the failure of the White Ape King was destined from the moment they set up the space-suppressing big array. However, upon hearing Lu Qing's confirmation, the mysterious being once again fell silent in thought. After a few breaths, he couldn't help but ask, You've achieved the primordial spirit realm and must have entered the true witch realm on the path of the body. How tall is the true witch body you manifested? My true witch body is about 100 meters tall now, Lu Qing answered truthfully. A true witch body of 100 meters tall. Are you speaking the truth? This time, the mysterious being could no longer maintain his composure. His voice trembled. Without further explanation, Lu Qing transformed himself, directly manifesting his true witch body. With the manifestation of the enormous true witch body, the already small mysterious space felt as if it was about to be pushed to the top, becoming crowded. It truly is 100 meters tall. But how is this possible? Even the most extraordinary prodigy in our witch clan history, even that lord, when achieving the true witch realm, didn't manifest such an enormous true witch body. Seeing Lu Qing's true witch body, the mysterious being finally believed he wasn't lying. But this revelation left him even more shocked. Because having just entered the true witch realm, the manifested true witch body was already 100 meters tall. Such a feat seemed unprecedented in the long history of the witch clan. Even the lord who created this space reportedly had a true witch body of only 90-something meters when achieving the true witch realm. And that was already nearly the highest record in the witch clan's history. Remembering the lord's final achievements, the mysterious being's heart could not remain calm. His gaze fell upon Lu Qing. Before that lord disappeared, his realm was comparable to 12 ancestors. Could it be that this little one's potential isn't just a great witch seed but an ancestor witch seed? Thinking of this, the mysterious being couldn't help but feel excited. But quickly he seemed to recall something, his mood slowly calmed. So what if you are an ancestor witch seed? In the past, if the clan knew such a genius appeared, perhaps the ancestor witches would be alerted and spare no effort to nurture him. But now, the witch clan is no more. Even with such talent, there are no resources to support his growth. The mysterious being deeply understood that potential and actualizing it were two different things. Achieving the ancestor witch realm wasn't merely about potential. It required countless resources and unimaginable opportunities. Only through various fortunate coincidences could one possibly reach the ancestor witch realm. Otherwise, there had been many prominent witches in the witch clan's history, and several were considered ancestor witch seeds. Yet ultimately, only that lord truly reached the ancestor witch realm. Thus, although Lu Qing might have the ancestor witch potential, actually achieving that supreme realm seemed extremely unlikely. What a pity! If only my witch clan still existed. The mysterious being felt a surge of discontent. Senior. Lu Qing was unaware of the fluctuations in the mysterious being's emotions. Seeing no response after transforming his true witch body, he cautiously called out. The mysterious being snapped back to reality. All right, retract your Dharma aspect. I didn't expect that upon entering the true witch realm, your manifested true witch body would reach 100 meters. It's truly astonishing. Lu Qing returned to his original form and curiously asked, Senior, is there no one in the witch clan who, like me, can manifest 100-meter witch body right from the start? It's not that there hasn't been, but it's rare. It's just unexpected that a human like you could reach this stage. It is indeed remarkable. The mysterious being thought about it and decided not to reveal to Lu Qing that he possessed the ancestor witch potential, to prevent his pride from swelling. In his view, without adequate resources and opportunities, even with talent, achieving that realm was still exceedingly difficult. I see. Lu Qing nodded, not doubting the mysterious being's words. Although he knew his true witch body was extraordinary, he wasn't conceited enough to believe it could surpass all witch clan talents. After all, the witch clan in ancient times ruled the starry skies and controlled unimaginable resources. Under the nurturing of endless resources, numerous talents were bound to emerge. He merely cultivated an incomplete, undying heavenly witch body, and likely still had some disparity compared to those true witch clan talents nurtured to the fullest. The mysterious being saw Lu Qing seemingly believing his words and secretly sighed in relief. The pride of the witch clan was one of his inner supports. Thus, in such a moment, he wanted to protect the witch clan's dignity. Otherwise, if Lu Qing knew his true witch body was unheard of in the witch clan's history, that would surely undermine the witch clan's prestige, something he couldn't bear. So, how long do you plan to stay in the secret realm this time? Do you plan to go out? After relaxing, the mysterious being changed the topic. I was about to ask you, Senior. This time, when I used the teleportation stone plate to return to the secret realm, is there a time limit? Lu Qing asked. Naturally, there isn't. The mysterious being smiled. The stone plate was refined by that lord personally. You can stay as long as you want this time, but once you leave, you'll need to use another teleportation opportunity to return. That's wonderful. Lu Qing rejoiced upon hearing this. I've just made a breakthrough and need time to digest and settle many things. If it's no inconvenience to you, Senior, I wish to stay closed door in this secret realm for a while. Is that okay? Regarding Lu Qing's request, the mysterious entity naturally would not refuse. Not to mention that Lu Qing is a registered disciple of that figure. His right to inherit this space is actually more legitimate than the entity's. Simply based on the potential Lu Qing has shown, touching the realm of ancestor which in the future is unlikely, but there's great hope for him to achieve the level of a great witch. Although Lu Qing is not purely from the witch clan, he also possesses witch clan bloodline within him. If he could achieve the level of a great witch, their witch clan's legacy wouldn't be considered severed. However, upon hearing Lu Qing's desire to seclude for cultivation, the mysterious entity's heart and spirit stirred. If you want to seclude here, I actually know a place that should suit you quite well. In a vast stone room filled with an ancient and heavy atmosphere, Lu Qing looked around the walls with a bit of amazement. The towering walls were marked with various giant traces. Some of these traces were from fists and hand seals, others from blades and swords, and there were also scattered murals and pictures. Without exception, these traces were incredibly old, yet each emitted an elusive Tao rhythm, almost unbelievably. Lu Qing recalled what the mysterious entity had told him upon entering. This stone room was once a place where some clansmen of the witch clan secluded themselves, later moved into this space by that lord. The Tao marks on the stone walls were left by many true witches and great witches during their enlightenment while in seclusion. You've just stepped into the realm of true witch. In that place, seclusion might yield some fortune for you. The retreat place for the great powers of the ancient witch clan? Lu Qing looked at the marks on the stone wall thoughtfully. He activated his superpower and focused on one large trace that emitted a hint of sharpness as if carved by knife or axe. This trace had relatively weaker Tao rhythm breath compared to the many traces in the stone room. If there were inheritances hidden inside, it should also be easier to comprehend. Lu Qing stared at that trace for over 10 breaths before seeing thick purple light emanating, with several strips of text floating out. He immediately understood that his guess was correct. It's worth noting that after stepping into the primordial spirit realm, his superpower seemed to have evolved, allowing him to examine information more swiftly. Beneath the primordial spirit realm, he could almost detect an object's information at a glance. Even previously against a 5 tribulation primordial spirit great power, it only took him a few breaths to uncover the details. Now with this trace, it took him over 10 breaths of time, indicating its extraordinary origin. Lu Qing immediately looked at the strips of text in his vision. Gold Tao Mark. A Tao mark left by a great witch of the ancient witch clan using a battle axe. This axe mark was left by a great witch of the witch clan during ancient times when he gained insights into the path of gold, striking it with a battle axe. Within the axe mark lies the gold Tao rhythm, coupled with the mystic nature of this stone room, allowing it to preserve the Tao rhythm for countless years. Inheritance discovered. Proceed with download. It seems this truly is my place of fortune. Upon reviewing those strips of text, a smile appeared on Lu Qing's face. He wasn't wrong. The markings on the walls could indeed be downloaded. At just the right moment, he was a bit troubled that the witch clan cultivation technique he knew only included the undying heavenly witch body. Trying to derive the most suitable primordial spirit technique for himself from this alone might not be quite enough. But now, with the numerous Tao marks in this stone room, even if the inheritances within are not complete, they can undoubtedly provide much inspiration, allowing him to tread more smoothly on the path of creating his own cultivation technique. Lu Qing immediately chose to download the inheritance. Downloading. After a while, once the superpower had downloaded and simulated the inheritance, Lu Qing opted to learn it. The next moment, his heart and spirit appeared in an inheritance space, possessing the body of a tall, strong man. Lu Qing glanced around and found himself still in the stone room, but with noticeably fewer markings on the walls. The man he possessed was sitting cross-legged on the ground, intently facing an engraved picture on the opposite stone wall. Beside him lay a gigantic stone axe. Suddenly, as if the man had a revelation, he grabbed the stone axe beside him, stood up, and began practicing an axe technique in the stone room. The moves of this axe technique appeared simple and unremarkable. But as the man practiced, the surrounding space trembled, as if the laws themselves were fluctuating. The man repeatedly practiced this axe technique, and when he performed it for the 9th time, his eyes suddenly widened. A golden light condensed on the stone axe. With a divine inspiration, the man suddenly twisted his body, swinging that golden light toward the stone wall. Boom! With a massive tremor, a gigantic axe mark appeared on the stone wall. Finally succeeded. The man saw the axe mark and an ecstatic expression emerged on his face. After a century of contemplation, I finally comprehended the path of gold. Golden Light Axe Technique. This is an axe technique that, when cultivated to an advanced level, allows one to grasp a thread of the gold principle truly extraordinary. When Lu Qing's consciousness exited the inheritance space and returned to his physical body, there was a sense of awe in his eyes. The inheritance contained within this axe mark was a great witch-level axe technique. Cultivating it to a profound realm enables one to control the gold principle, and where the battle axe reaches, all things scatter, with even void being cleaved, truly an incredible force. More importantly, from this axe technique, Lu Qing glimpsed some cultivation directions about the Great Witch Realm. So it seems, in the Great Witch Realm, the most important aspect is comprehending the Taoist law. The deeper the understanding of the Taoist law, the more laws one controls, and the stronger one's power becomes. If one can grasp a complete Taoist law, that would be the ultimate realm of the witch path, the ancestor witch realm. Lu Qing gradually came to have a clearer understanding of cultivation in the witch path. Before this, although he had learned the undying heavenly witch body, the technique recorded on the stone slab was incomplete, only the upper part. At most, it could only lead him to the Great Witch Realm. It rarely mentioned cultivation after achieving the Great Witch. Only until now did Lu Qing realize that the most crucial aspect of the Great Witch Realm is mastering the Taoist law. And this mastery of the Taoist law is different from the 5 tribulation primordial spirits' comprehension of the space law. The Great Witch Realm pursues absolute mastery over the Taoist law, while the 5 tribulation primordial spirits' comprehension of the space law is, at best, superficial. After all, the space path is one of the most vast paths, and how could the mere primordial spirit realm truly master it? At most, one could use primordial spirit power to leverage a sliver of the space law, utilizing its fluctuations to achieve space shifting, space suppression, and other feats. True mastery of the space Tao is still far away, fundamentally different. However, the Great Witch Realm is still somewhat distant for me. Right now, the most important thing is to first create the perfect primordial spirit technique. With so many witch clan inheritances in this stone room, along with the numerous primordial spirit techniques I possess, it should be enough for me to create the first few tribulations of the perfect primordial spirit technique. Lu Qing calmed his mind and began to slowly walk around the stone room. In the following days, Lu Qing focused on retreating within the stone room. While comprehending the many Tao marks on the stone walls, he also verified them against his cultivation path, realizing that not every Tao mark on the stone walls contained complete inheritances. The vast majority were fragmented insights and scattered moves. Those containing complete inheritances were few. Yet for Lu Qing this was already an immense gain, allowing him to rapidly accumulate in the witch path. Finally, half a month after Lu Qing entered the stone room, he had comprehended almost all the Tao marks. The inspiration brewing in his heart for a long time was ready to burst forth. He came to the central position of the stone room, sat cross-legged, activated his superpower, and began attempting to create his own primordial spirit technique. This little fellow is finally about to start cultivating. I've been wondering if he's comprehended anything during this half-month, thought the mysterious being who had been monitoring the situation in the stone room. During this half-month, he naturally noticed that Lu Qing was comprehending the Dao marks on the stone walls. This wasn't surprising. Back then, every Witch clan member who entered the stone room for closed-door cultivation was similarly captivated by the many Dao marks. However, those Witch clan members tended to seek out the Dao marks most compatible with themselves for comprehension. Few would be as thorough as Lu Qing, examining all Dao marks in detail. After all, too much greed without thorough understanding often leads to wasted time and ultimately poor results. Yet considering Lu Qing's extraordinary talent, the mysterious being chose not to interfere with his comprehension, silently observing. Geniuses possessing the image of an ancestor which often tread unconventional paths in their cultivation. That great person back then was the best example. Forcing interference could have counterproductive results. Thus, the mysterious being had already decided that as long as Lu Qing didn't make overly absurd mistakes, he wouldn't interfere in his cultivation. Seeing Lu Qing had entered the deepest level of meditation, probably not waking up soon, the mysterious being withdrew his attention and focused on Little Li and the others. Little Li and the 5 elements were currently immersed in a blood pool, earnestly absorbing the primordial blood essence within. These little ones have good potential. They would have been geniuses in ancient times. With proper nurturing, crossing into the true Witch realm shouldn't be difficult. As for the great Witch realm, that will depend on their future opportunities. The mysterious being felt satisfied watching Little Li and the others diligently cultivating. Previously, when Lu Qing expressed his intention to retreat, the mysterious being spontaneously offered to help train Little Li and the others. Lu Qing gladly agreed. After Lu Qing entered the stone room, the mysterious being also sent Little Li and the others into a primordial blood pool. Once these little ones finish absorbing the primordial blood, their strength should make some progress, preparing them for practical training. The mysterious being planned internally. This blood pool, though not as profound as the true essence blood pool Lu Qing once entered, was still an exceptional opportunity. Even in ancient times, it was a privilege only granted to true geniuses among the Witch clan. Once Little Li and the others emerged from it, their strength would no doubt have advanced considerably. With further training, upon leaving, their strength and potential would indeed increase significantly. Thus, Lu Qing entered a long period of retreat in the Trial Secret Realm, creating his primordial spirit technique. Meanwhile, in his homeland world, atop the holy mountain, several figures exuding strands of black qi hovered above the holy mountain, condescendingly watching below. Below, at the mountaintop, stood the 3 Saint Masters, Little Li, and Han Lingshuang of the Cold Water Palace, all prepared for battle. Little Li, holding a long sword, exuded an aura as cold as the chill moon, her face icy as she stared coldly at the 4 figures above, emitting terrifying auras. You demons, instead of hiding in your lairs, dare to step forward? Ha ha ha! Fairy Lu, don't you recognize me? The demonic chi of one figure suddenly dissipated, revealing a charmingly handsome face. I wondered who it was. Turns out it's you, old guy. How come I didn't manage to kill you last time? Today you've come to offer yourself as a sword underling. Little Li recognized the figure, immediately sneering. Fairy Lu's demeanor is as distant as ever. The charmingly handsome man chuckled. Evil Wind, is this the little girl you've set your sights on? Nice taste. I see this girl is quite fiery, worth taming. Another black chi-clad figure suddenly spoke. His voice was extraordinarily sharp, discomforting to hear. Eagle Demon, this woman is my choice. Don't target her, or I'll sever your claws. The face of the charmingly handsome man suddenly darkened. Oh, I'm so scared. If this were the previous cultivation era, I'd heed your words, but now we're of the same realm. Do you think I still fear you? The sharp-voiced figure laughed eerily. Then feel free to try. The charmingly handsome man suddenly exuded a chilling, murderous aura. Yet the sharp-voiced figure was unyielding, his demonic chi surging. Originally allies now suddenly seemed to be on the brink of infighting. Enough, you two. Calm down and remember our purpose for coming. Another figure stepped out, standing between them, trying to mediate. Humph! With someone intervening, both the charmingly handsome man and the eagle demon coldly snorted, reigning in their aura. However, their dialogue had already ignited Little Lee's murderous intent. The next moment, her treasure sword transformed into a fierce sword light, cleaving upward. Filthy curse words, evil demons, prepare to die. Fairy Lu, Little Lee. Seeing Little Lee suddenly strike, the three Saint Masters and Han Lingshuang were shocked. Fairy Lu, Little Yen. Seeing Little Yen unleash her flying sword towards the powerful demons emitting demonic chi above, the three Saint Masters and Han Lingshuang were all astonished. The demons above had terrifyingly abnormal auras, at least reaching the late stage of the Golden Core realm. Although Little Yen was strong, she was currently only at the Golden Core 6th turn realm, so how could she handle 4 demons simultaneously? Fortunately, Little Yen merely unleashed her flying sword without charging up herself, which relieved the 3 Saint Masters and Han Lingshuang somewhat. However, knowing this, they realized that this battle was inevitably unavoidable. Immediately, the 3 Saint Masters exchanged glance at each other and began communicating with the holy mountain beneath their feet, preparing rigorously. Throughout the years, although their cultivation had advanced considerably, even the strongest among them, the first Saint Master, had only reached the Golden Core 4th transition. Confronting the 4 demons head-on was impossible. The only way was for the 3 brothers to utilize the power of the holy mountain and form an array, giving them a chance to have a fighting strength. Little Yan's flying sword was fierce and unrivaled, containing a chilling intent to freeze all things. Once unleashed, it immediately startled the 4 demons in the sky. Despite their strength, they could feel a thread of coldness arising from the depths of their hearts. In a moment, none of them wished to directly face this powerful sword light, and they all evaded to the sides. However, since Little Lee had made her move, she naturally wouldn't end it so easily. With a change in her sword technique, the sword light split into 4, chasing down the 4 demons individually. It seemed she intended to take on the 4 great demons herself. Little Yan's action made the 4 demons perceive her arrogance, especially the eagle demon, who directly let out a strange cry. "Little girl, you truly don't know the immensity of heaven and earth, daring to be so arrogant with just a mere Golden Core mid-realm." Before finishing his words, the eagle demon grabbed out with his hand, with demonic chi surging forth, turning into a massive black eagle claw, attempting to capture the sword light aimed at him. The power of the black eagle claw was immensely strong. Its mere appearance exerted a strong pressure from above, making the 3 Saint Masters and Han Lingshuang involuntarily freeze their breaths. However, Little Yan's sword light was even more exquisite. As the black eagle claw was about to seize it, it traced a mysterious trajectory like refracting lightning, and with a crackle, the sword light instantaneously accelerated. In the blink of an eye, it reached before the eagle demon's face, slicing towards his head. At the same time, the other 3 sword lights also changed, evading the demon's blocks and erupting with thunderous sounds, slicing towards their true forms. Multitasking, sword chi thunder sound. The 4 demons were struck with surprise, none having anticipated that Little Yan's sword Dao had reached such a realm. Even while simultaneously attacking all 4 of them, she managed such exquisite transformation. Having once been great powers of primordial spirit, they were taken aback and could only watch in shock as the sword light sliced towards them. Boom, 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 boom. There were 4 resounding explosions. The sword light of Little Yen had all struck the 4 demons. Immediately, demonic chi scattered everywhere. The 4 demons were struck by Little Yan's sword light, simultaneously flying backwards. Was it struck? The 3 Saint Masters and Han Lingshuang, along with the numerous holy mountain disciples watching below, widened their eyes at the sight, their hearts exhilarated vastly. No one had imagined that Fairy Lu could attack the true forms of the demons while fighting 4-1. Everyone kept their gazes fixed on the 4 demons, eager to see what would happen after they endured such a ferocious strike from Fairy Lu. Ha ha ha, not bad, not bad. At this moment, the Eagle King, having been struck by the sword light, flipped over, returning to the holy mountain, laughing heartily. No wonder evil wind is so keen on you, little girl. You're indeed spicy. Your sword Dao cultivation is impressive too, capable of wounding me with just mid-level golden core cultivation. Even in our era, you would be considered a prodigious sword Dao genius. At this moment, the demonic chi within the eagle demon had dissipated, and the black robe he wore had been slashed with a crack. A deep sword mark, reaching the bone, was visible on him. However, the eagle demon seemed indifferent to his own injuries, gazing fervently at little Yen as if seeing a rare prey. And the sword wound on him was healing rapidly, visible to the naked eye. At that moment, the other demons returned similarly. Although they all bore injuries more or less like the eagle demon, their injuries healed quickly too. Their aura had barely diminished, which meant, although little Yan's sword light wounded them, it couldn't hurt their core essence. Witnessing this scene, the people atop the holy mountain felt a chill in their hearts. They took Fairy Lu's sword light, yet these demons suffered only physical injuries? The first Saint Master immediately realized the gravity of the situation. Little Yen was their strongest combat force. Even she barely managed to wound the demons. Wouldn't that imply they were doomed to lose this battle? Thinking of this, the first Saint Master made a prompt decision. Their divine soul vibrated, and a voice echoed in every Holy Mountain disciple's ear. All Holy Mountain disciples, return to your cave mansions immediately, activate the array, and jointly resist the enemy. The Holy Mountain disciples who heard this were momentarily stunned. Then, without hesitation, rushed back to their respective cave mansions. The next moment, the cave mansion closed, and an array formation light screen appeared before them. What is this? All the Holy Mountain disciples looked surprised. They had lived in their cave mansion for so long, yet they had never seen this thing before. At this moment, the voice of the first Holy Master echoed in their minds once again. Holy Mountain disciples, hear my command. Infuse your spiritual power and mana into the array to maintain the big array. When all the Holy Mountain disciples complied, an incredibly powerful array fluctuation emanated from the Holy Mountain. The strength of that fluctuation was so potent that even the 4 demons in the sky couldn't help but change their expressions. Little Yen also turned back somewhat surprised. She too did not know that the Holy Mountain had such a hidden trump card. Fairy Lu, do not blame us. This is the support your brother left for our Holy Mountain. He once said that this big array could only be used in life and death situations. Facing Little Yan's puzzled gaze, the first Holy Master explained. Little Yan's body trembled suddenly. Is this the array left by my brother? After the first Holy Master's explanation, he stepped forward to face the 4 figures in the sky exuding powerful auras and said aloud, Demons, speak. What is the reason for your presence at the Holy Mountain? Are you the so-called first Holy Master? The eagle demon looked down, his gaze falling on the first Holy Master. The aura on his body suddenly intensified. The other 3 demons also looked at the first Holy Master. However, the first Holy Master remained fearless, with a strong array fluctuation emerging from him, completely dissolving the pressure from the 4 demons. Then, with a calm expression, he nodded and said, Yes, I am. Seeing the first Holy Master, who was merely at the 4th transition of the Golden Core, completely unaffected by their pressure, the 4 demons had a glint of surprise in their eyes. Interesting, I didn't expect your Mountain Soul Puppet to have some skill. Able to use the array to gather the Mountain Soul power and the power of numerous disciples to yourself. But do you think that with just an array you can stop us for? The eagle demon stared coldly at the first Holy Master and said, Whether or not it can stop you, why don't you try? The first Holy Master replied indifferently, showing no signs of weakness. Fine, let me see what you rely on. Upon hearing this, the eagle demon didn't hesitate and struck from mid-air, causing a massive black eagle claw to descend from the sky, reaching for the first Holy Master. Seeing this, Little Yen was about to intervene, but the first Holy Master waved his hand to stop her. Fairy Lu, there's no need to act. Let me learn from this demon's evil technique. After speaking, the first Holy Master extended his hand and launched a palm strike. As he struck, The array lights atop the holy mountain flickered, and the mighty power of the array quickly coalesced, eventually forming a giant, five-colored magic palm that moved to meet the black eagle claw driven by the eagle demon. It's my brother's 10,000 skill palm of the 5 elements. Seeing the 5-color swirling giant magic palm, little Yan's eyes widened. The next moment, the giant magic palm collided with the black eagle claw. Boom! An unparalleled force exploded. The black eagle claw lasted only a few moments before being smashed by the magic palm, turning into boundless demonic chi, which was continually extinguished. After shattering the black eagle claw, the giant magic palm did not halt its advance and continued to soar upward, heading for the eagle demon and the other 3 demons in the sky. What? Seeing this, the 4 demons were all taken aback. None of them had expected that the eagle demon's proud Taoist skill would be broken by someone at the mere 4th transition of the golden core. Facing the unparalleled power of the giant magic palm, a chill inexplicably arose in the hearts of the 4 demons. They immediately understood that the power of this magic palm was overwhelming, making it impossible to receive head-on. If they were struck directly, even with their demon bodies, they would find it difficult to withstand. They might suffer severe primordial damage, if not perish outright. Realizing the threat of the magic palm, the 4 demons quickly evaded. Fortunately, the magic palm's speed was not too fast, allowing the 4 demons to easily dodge it with their movement techniques. Eventually, the momentum of the giant magic palm waned, unable to pursue further, and it slowly descended back to the holy mountain, reverting into array power. Seeing the 4 demons easily evade the 5 elements 10,000 skill palm he had activated, the first holy master showed a hint of regret on his face. What a pity! Had it been executed by Lu Qing, these demons wouldn't have escaped. Holy master, was this palm technique taught by my brother? Little Yan asked. Yes, years ago I was fortunate to be taught this Taoist skill by Lu Qing. However, due to my poor talent, I can only unleash the 10,000 skill palm with all 5 elements present by relying on the power of the big array. The technique is clumsy. Otherwise, these demons wouldn't have been able to avoid it. Little Yen nodded slightly. She had already realized that the first holy master's ability to use the 5 elements 10,000 skill palm was thanks to the big array. Brother, so you had such a fallback back then, watching the array light surrounding and protecting her. Little Yen was lost in thought, as if she had returned to the days when her brother protected her during childhood. Fairy Lu, these 4 demons are formidable. Your cultivation period is ultimately short, so there's no need to contend with them on impulse and fall for their goading. When your cultivation level has made a breakthrough, there's plenty of time for confrontation later. With the array left by Lu Qing, even though these 4 demons are powerful, they cannot easily harm our holy mountain. Seeing little Yan's expression, the first holy master seized the moment to persuade her. Little Yan looked around at the array light, then nodded. All right. Seeing little Yan agree, the first holy master finally breathed a sigh of relief. The reason he didn't hesitate to reveal the last trump card of the holy mountain and activated the array was to persuade little Yan. Over the years, little Yan's cultivation had become increasingly profound, and the number of demon cultivators she defeated each year was countless. But likewise, her aura became heavier, and her temperament increasingly reclusive. A few years ago, Han Lingshuang could occasionally persuade her, but in recent years, his words have become less and less able to sway little Yan's heart. Earlier, the eagle demon clearly intended to lure little Yan out, deliberately provoking her with words. So the first holy master had no choice but to use the array. Firstly, the 4 demons who came this time were indeed extraordinarily terrifying, posing an unprecedented threat to the holy mountain. Secondly, the first holy master knew that besides Lu Qing, the only one who could persuade little Yan now was that elder doctor. But the elder doctor was stationed in Jili village year-round and couldn't arrive immediately. So he could only use things related to Lu Qing, hoping it might persuade little Yan. Fortunately, his guess was correct. Knowing that Lu Qing had set up the big array, little Yan refrained from acting rashly. Now all that's left is to make these demons realize it's better to retreat strategically. The first holy master looked upward. Above in the sky, the eagle demon and the other 3 demons were watching the flashing array light of the holy mountain with visible trepidation. What do we do, given there's such a powerful array set up in this holy mountain? With this array present, it won't be easy to take this mountain, the eagle demon said grimly. Indeed, this array can draw on the mountain soul power of the holy mountain and gather the power of countless disciples. Those holy mountain disciples are nothing to worry about, but the mountain soul power is quite formidable. Another demonic figure nodded. Why does the holy mountain have such an exquisite large array? Given the weak cultivation of those 3 so-called holy masters, they shouldn't have been able to set up such a great array. The 4th demonic figure wondered. It's probably a fallback left by that one. The handsome male demon with an eerie beauty suddenly sighed. That one? Do you mean the lad known as the best in the world? The eagle demon said incredulously. How long has that lad been cultivating? How could he have such mastery of arrays? That one's clearly the child of fate of this era. Need I explain what a child of fate represents? The handsome male demon replied. The other 3 demons fell silent. Child of fate, the name synonymous with miracles. Any outrageous occurrence could seem reasonable when it involved the child of fate. What should we do? The mountain soul power of this holy mountain is crucial for us to return to the primordial spirit realm. Are we supposed to just leave? The eagle demon asked with a look of frustration. What else can be done? Unless this array can be broken, do you have a way to withstand that huge magic palm just now? The alluring, handsome man retorted. The other 3 demons were all stunned. Thinking of the terrifying might of that huge magic palm earlier, honestly speaking, even if the 4 of them joined forces, they might not be able to withstand it. Not to mention, there's still little Yen below, looking at them with a threatening gaze. If a fight does break out, no one can guarantee how the situation will develop. What's more, the few demons subtly glanced at each other. The gathering of these 4 demons was merely due to mutual interest. To say there is any deep trust or camaraderie between them is absolutely impossible. On the contrary, if the opportunity arises, they wouldn't mind devouring any of their companions. So if during the battle one of them is seriously injured, they have no doubt that the other 3 would unhesitatingly divide and consume them. Thinking of this, the 4 demons, each with their own ulterior motives, couldn't help but hesitate. The reason they teamed up this time was because they were sure the holy mountain couldn't withstand them. Now that the situation has changed, they need to reassess the risks involved. Lest they end up gaining nothing and get ambushed, ultimately facing a fate of body decay and Tao destruction. So we can only retreat then? Asked the eagle demon. Let's retreat. Staying here any longer is meaningless, and we must guard against these so-called righteous people secretly plotting against us. After all, there's plenty of time ahead. Now that our cultivation has recovered to the late golden core stage, there's no one in this world who can stop us. Another demon silhouetted by demonic chi said. But without obtaining this mountain soul, if we want to recover to the primordial spirit realm, we might only have a chance when the heaven and earth Tao sound strikes again and the spiritual energy transforms. Who knows how much more time will be needed? Said the 4th demon. I have a method. The alluring, handsome man suddenly spoke. Evil wind, what method do you have? The other 3 demons immediately looked at him. What the holy mountain relies on now is merely the power of the array. If we find a way to break this array, then relying solely on Fairy Lu and some nameless underlings, they won't be able to stop us. Break the array? This array seems quite extraordinary. It might not be that easy to break, right? The eagle demon raised a query. Ordinary methods can't break the formation, but what if we have the demon blood soul banner? The alluring, handsome man smiled slightly. The demon blood soul banner. Evil wind, are you thinking? The eagle demon was suddenly shocked. The other 2 demons similarly looked at the alluring, handsome man in surprise. Exactly, the demon blood soul banner can corrupt any big array. If we can refine this banner, breaking the big array on the holy mountain is not difficult. But to refine the demon blood soul banner, a large number of living creatures are needed, You're not thinking, isn't it just right? Now that our cultivation has recovered to the late golden core stage, no one can stop us in this world. As long as we refine the demon blood soul banner, break the array on the holy mountain, absorb the mountain soul, and return to the primordial spirit realm. By then, this world will be ruled by our demon path, and the so-called righteous path will forever become a thing of the past. Looking at the smile on the alluring, handsome man's face, the other three demons felt an inexplicable sense of horror. Although they were all demon cultivators, they didn't know Evil Wind had such a ruthless side before. The demon blood soul banner is a terrifying thing requiring numerous living creatures. Even in the last cultivation era, few great demons dared to refine such an object. Is it the countless other demon cultivators' primordial spirits swallowed over the millennia that made Evil Wind's nature change drastically? The eagle demon thought silently. 3 of you wouldn't want to retreat, would you? You should think clearly. If we don't seize the mountain soul, we can't recover to the primordial spirit realm in the short term, and can only wait for the spiritual energy to recover slowly. But you should also know that our demon path is ultimately not tolerated by the will of the heavenly Tao. Who knows if during the waiting time, there will be any devil geniuses rising with heavenly and earthly chi fortune to stop us. The righteous and demon conflicts during the last cultivation era were not scarce. You don't want to become a stepping stone for some chi fortune Taoist, right? Only by using thunderous means, breaking the big array of this holy mountain, and seizing the mountain soul. Once we refine the mountain soul and return to the primordial spirit realm, we will possibly truly control the cosmic balance. As long as we transform righteousness to demon, turning the whole world into a realm of demon cultivators, even the will of the heavenly Tao will be demonized by us. By then, the demon path will become the righteous path. Maybe we could even use this to take an even further step. Break through the insurmountable supreme realm that no one in the last cultivation era could surpass. The alluring, handsome man's words stunned the 3 demons. They didn't expect Evil Wind to have such great ambition. He actually wanted to transform righteousness to demon and change the heavenly Tao. But they had to admit they were moved by Evil Wind. Because if they really reached that step, perhaps they could break through the barrier that no great power could surpass in the last cultivation era, ascending to an unprecedented supreme realm. Ha! Evil Wind. I didn't expect you to have such ambition. I used to underestimate you. The eagle demon suddenly burst into loud laughter. However, your suggestion isn't bad. Turning righteousness into evil, reversing the heavenly Tao, that's what we demon cultivators should truly do. Refining the demon blood soul banner. Count me in. The remaining 2 demons exchanged a glance and finally nodded together. Count us in. As long as we can break through this big array, what does it matter if we refine a few living creatures? Seeing that all 3 demons agreed, the strangely handsome man revealed a sinister smile. In that case, there's no time to delay. Let's prepare to act. And first we'll sacrifice this holy city at the mountain's foot in blood. Ha! That's a good idea. Isn't this holy mountain claimed to be the head of the world's righteous path? We'll refine living creatures right under their noses and see if they dare to come out to eradicate evil and uphold justice. At these words, excitement appeared on the eagle demon's face as he flew down first. The other 3 demons closely followed. Since the eagle demon and the others had blocked out any sound while communicating just now, the first holy master and his group did not hear their conversation. At this moment, when they saw the 4 demons suddenly leaving, they were very surprised. Did these demons retreat so easily? As soon as the first holy master thought this, his heart suddenly sensed something bad when he saw the direction the eagle demon and the others were heading. Not good. Those demons are heading to the holy city. The speed of a strong individual at the late golden core stage is naturally extremely fast. Just as the first holy master and others realized the demon's target, they had already reached above the holy city. Hold on, let me strike first. The eagle demon spread his large hand, and a demonic chi vortex suddenly appeared above the holy city, generating a powerful suction force, attempting to absorb the city's inhabitants. Very well, we'll assist from the sidelines, eagle demon. The other 3 demons were not in a hurry. resting on the side, intending to watch the eagle demon's performance. Of course, they were more on guard against the holy mountain. Should the first holy master and others be unable to bear it and rush out to intervene, they could strike first to capture them. The demonic chi vortex descended quickly, about to fall into the city. But at this moment, an array formation light screen rose within the holy city, barely blocking the eagle demon's demonic chi vortex. They even restored the array of this city? Seeing this, the eagle demon expressed a hint of surprise. The holy city has been a city since the previous cultivation era, so he naturally knew about it. Back then, the city was protected by a big array. Otherwise, it could not have existed for so long. He hadn't expected the city's array to be capable of activation after such a long time. Is this the work of that boy called the world's number one? The eagle demon felt a stir in his heart, his expression becoming somewhat serious. He had always scoffed at that so-called world's number one. He believed it was only because they hadn't awakened yet that the brat gained fame. But now, he was blocked twice in succession by the contingencies left by that boy, making him take this potential opponent seriously. Fortunately, that boy has left this world. If not, he would be an incredibly fearsome enemy. A flicker of relief flashed in the eagle demon's heart, and then his gaze became sharp again. However, while this city protection array is formidable, there's no master within the city to sustain it. You can't hold it. With evil wind and others watching, the eagle demon naturally wouldn't back down so easily. Immediately, he stirred the mana inside him, and the demonic chi vortex instantly doubled in size, pressing downwards. Hold on. Everyone must hold on, or else we'll all die. Within the holy city, the Tower Master of Tianji Building had lost the immortal sage appearance of days past. At this moment, he exuded an aura of the Golden Core realm, his face flushed red, standing within the city's most crucial array, giving his all to maintain the entire city protection array. Besides Lin Jirue and other disciples of Tianji Building, many strong individuals from various forces within the holy city were also gathered there, helping to support the array. When the four demons descended on Holy Mountain, the city's powerful individuals also assembled under the Tower Master's summons. Their aim was to utilize the city protection array to protect the holy city. Listening to the Tower Master's words and sensing the terrifying might of the demonic chi vortex above, all the strong individuals in the holy city didn't need more words. They immediately channeled their strongest powers into the array. If they didn't and let the demonic chi vortex descend, none of them would survive. Thus, with the Tower Master and all the strong individuals in the holy city desperately trying, the eagle demon's demonic chi vortex, although making the array formation light screen tremble, did not actually break through the defense to descend into the city. Blocked it! Seeing the demonic chi vortex blocked, all the strong individuals in the holy city rejoiced. Even the Tower Master of Tianji Building secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He felt thankful. Fortunately, Mr. Lu Qing restored the city's array back then, or else today the entire holy city would have been devastated. However, the Tower Master also knew it was far from the time to truly relax. After all, only one demon had attacked. 3 more had not yet made a move. I hope the Holy Master and others can come up with a solution. The Tower Master could only pray in his heart. Eagle Demon, can't you do it? Need any help? At this moment, seeing that the Eagle Demon had not breached the city protection array's defense for a long time, a figure of demonic chi spoke up. Bullshit, I can't do it? The Eagle Demon, hearing this, suddenly became very angry. Just a formation led by a mere initial golden core and a group of small foundation establishment cultivators. Watch me break it now. Before he finished speaking, the Eagle Demon spat out a mouthful of demonic chi, which fell into the demonic chi vortex below. In an instant, the demonic chi vortex swelled to twice its previous size, grinding down on the holy city's array formation light screen, making cracking sounds. Not good. The array is about to break. The Tower Master and others were greatly alarmed. Evil demons, meet your doom. At this moment, a cold shout suddenly resonated through the skies. Immediately, a dazzling sword light, with a momentum breaking through the heavens and earth, slashed down from the holy mountain, targeting the eagle demon's physical body. Not good, this sword light. The strangely handsome men, originally standing by to watch the eagle demon break the formation, turned pale upon feeling the aura of this sword. Without thinking, they fled in a panic, scattering to both sides like startled rabbits to evade. The word about assisting from the sidelines had long been forgotten. With no one to stop it, the sword light flashed with lightning speed, slashing directly at the eagle demon. Those three bastards! In the midst of maximizing the power of the demonic chi vortex, a sudden change occurred, causing the eagle demon to react a beat too slow. He only managed to slightly move his body before getting struck by the sword light. This time, the sword light emitted by Little Lee was over 10 times more powerful than before. No matter how resilient the eagle demon's demon body was, he could no longer withstand the sword light as before. With demonic chi scattering, his physical body was directly cleaved into two halves. Ah! Suffering such a severe injury, the eagle demon couldn't help but let out a miserable scream. In terror, the two halves of his body transformed into streaks of light, fleeing into the distance. At this point, the eagle demon could no longer care about refining the demon blood soul banner. He understood very well the nature of his three companions nearby. Having suffered heavy injuries now, if he didn't hurry and escape, he would instantly be devoured by them. As expected, upon seeing the eagle demon cleaved in two by the sword light, a hint of greed flickered in the eyes of the three strangely handsome men. They were about to give chase when they noticed the sword light that heavily wounded the eagle demon did not dissipate. Instead, it gracefully reversed and headed for the three of them. Seeing this, the three strangely handsome men became extremely nervous. They had witnessed the eagle demon's predicament clearly. Even the eagle demon couldn't withstand this terrifying sword light. With similar strength, they would also find it hard to fend it off. Thus, the three demons, ignoring the urge to pursue the eagle demon, used their movement techniques to dodge the sword light. Finally, sensing the sword light's mighty power, the three demons decided to retreat, even at the cost of injury, and made their escape. Did the demons all escape? It was Fairy Lu's flying sword that drove the demons away. Fairy Lu is invincible. We survived. Upon witnessing the four demons being chased and forced to flee in panic by that peerlessly sharp flying sword, dragging their injured bodies away, all the citizens in the Holy City were extremely excited. Especially those young cultivators who already admired Little Yen. Now they revered her even more. A similar situation occurred on the Holy Mountain. In fact, the disciples of the Holy Mountain were even more ecstatic. After all, over the years, Little Yen had long been the most revered goddess in the hearts of all the young disciples. Now seeing her unleash her great power, slashing demons, saving countless people from life and death crises, the excitement in the hearts of countless disciples was almost uncontrollable, and the entire Holy Mountain was immersed in cheers. In stark contrast, however, was the quietness at the top of the Holy Mountain. Fairy Lu, stop. Those demons have already fled. You should first halt the big array. The first Holy Master cautiously said. Yes, Little Yen. Forcing the big array to continue operating like this will deplete your essence. Han Lingshuang also expressed concern. At this moment, Little Yen was filled with an unparalleled array fluctuation, her expression cold and stern. The reason her flying sword's power increased significantly, making it difficult for even the four golden core demons to resist, was because the first Holy Master had transferred control of the big array laid by Lu Qing to Little Yen. It was precisely with the support of the array power that Little Yen's flying sword could reach its limit, nearly slaying the eagle demon from such a great distance. However, the array power of the Holy Mountain's big array was not so easy to activate, and the pressure to endure was incredibly intense. The three Holy Masters, having been recognized by the Mountain Soul, could barely manage to activate it. Therefore, the first Holy Master was very concerned about Little Yan's condition. Upon hearing Han Lingshuang's words, Little Yan's cold expression slowly softened. Finally, She gently nodded and stopped urging the big array. Once the array fluctuations calmed down, little Yan's aura declined significantly, and her complexion turned pale. Her figure flickered, and she disappeared from the spot. I will first return to cultivate, leave the rest to you. Watching little Yan fly towards the cave mansion, the first holy master felt a surge of helplessness. He could sense that after this battle, little Yan's demeanor seemed to have grown even colder. Holy master, is little Yan going to be all right? Han Lingshuang asked worriedly. With Fairy Lu's cultivation, this level of injury shouldn't be a significant problem for her, the first holy master sighed. But over the years, Fairy Lu has honed her cultivation through killing, wandering the world slaying demons. Her cultivation has indeed advanced rapidly, but likewise, it has left behind potential risks. Now her temperament has been influenced by the killing intent, becoming increasingly cold. I'm worried that if this continues, it will cause irreparable consequences. Han Lingshuang was silent for a moment and said, I've tried to persuade little Yan over the years, but the effect has been minimal. If only I'd been by her side earlier. Indeed, it's too late. Now the only one who can guide Fairy Lu back from this path might be Lu Qing. I think even the elder doctor may find it difficult to deter Fairy Lu from this path of slaughter. Thinking of that figure, Han Lingshuang felt a bit dazed before asking, Holy Master, when will Mr. Lu Qing return? I don't know. The first Holy Master shook his head. Fairy Lu mentioned that when Mr. Lu Qing left years ago, he said he would return within 50 years at the latest. But now 50 years have long passed, and yet Mr. Lu Qing hasn't returned. Perhaps that's why Fairy Lu's temperament has grown increasingly cold over the past few years. 50 years, huh? Han Lingshuang shuddered. Mr. Lu Qing isn't one to break promises. Now that the 50-year deadline has passed, and he hasn't returned, could it be? Han Lingshuang dared not continue, but her eyes revealed fear, as she didn't dare imagine that outcome. Lord Han, there's no need to worry. Although Mr. Lu Qing hasn't returned, Fairy Lu's behavior seems not to be overly concerned about Mr. Lu Qing's situation. Perhaps Mr. Lu Qing left some miraculous means when he left, by which Fairy Lu could know his safety at all times. The first holy master comforted. Is that so? That's good. Han Lingshuang breathed a sigh of relief, but then she seemed to suddenly think of something and blurted out. Isn't little Yan eagerly improving her cultivation because she wants to reach the primordial spirit realm soon, and then head to the stars to find Mr. Lu Qing? The first holy master's heart shook. If it were anyone else, he might have responded that it was impossible. But with little Yan, he truly couldn't guarantee. No, it should be said that Han Lingshuang's words enlightened him, making him feel that little Yan might indeed have such intentions. Perhaps Lord Han's guess is correct. Fairy Lu likely has this idea. But the cosmos is vast and unknown, potentially full of dangers. Even with Mr. Lu Qing not returning timely, how much more difficult would it be for little Yan alone? If Fairy Lu truly intends this, there's nothing we can say to dissuade her. We can only hope that Mr. Lu Qing returns soon before Fairy Lu reaches the primordial spirit realm. The first holy master sighed, looking towards little Yan's secluded cave mansion, filled with worry, just as the first Saint Master and Han Lingshuang were worrying about little Yan. On the other side, the three demons, including the enchantingly handsome man who had fled far away, gathered together again. Damn it! How did that little wench's flying sword suddenly become so powerful? One of the demonic figures said resentfully. At this moment, his body bore several sword marks, and the other two also had sword injuries. They were injured by little Yan's flying sword during their retreat earlier. There's only one possibility, that so-called Saint Master handed the control of the array to Fairy Lu, and with the array's support, her flying sword's power suddenly surged, making it hard for even us to resist. The enchantingly handsome man analyzed. It seems likely. Who would have thought that the array was so miraculous, forcing us to such a pitiful state by a golden core mid-stage sword cultivator? No wonder he was the #1 in the world back then, a child of fate. Fortunately, he has left this world. Otherwise, with him around, we might never have dared to appear. Another demonic figure expressed some relief. The enchantingly handsome man and the others fell silent. If previously they had been somewhat contemptuous of the boy revered by countless sects worldwide, now they were alarmed. Just leaving 2 arrays behind had forced them into such dire straits. If that boy had not left back then, with the cultivation speed of a child of fate, they would have been continuously suppressed, lurking in the darkness, never able to emerge. What should we do now? The eagle demon has fled, and he is seriously injured. He is certainly afraid that we will devour him, so he probably won't show up for a while. The first demonic figure asked. Continue with the original plan and craft the demon blood soul banner. Otherwise, we can't break the array and obtain the mountain soul. You've seen how powerful Fairy Lu's flying sword is. Just relying on the array's support has already put us in such a miserable state. If she breaks through to the late golden core stage, do you think any of us can stop her? The enchantingly handsome man said. That's right. That little wench has extraordinary talent. She is also a person of great fortune in this era. Her cultivation speed is not to be underestimated. If we wait any longer, it will be a huge problem if she breaks through. All right, let's split up and collect what we need to craft the demon blood soul, and let the eagle demon complete his part. Otherwise, when we obtain the mountain soul, he won't get any share. Don't worry, the eagle demon knows what's at stake. If he wants a slice of the pie, he'll have to appear once he recovers. After the 3 demons finished discussing, they began to separate, flying in different directions. From then on, the whole world plunged into a great calamity. Lu Qing knew nothing about what was happening in his hometown world. Ever since he downloaded and studied the many Taoist marks of inheritance in the stone room, he delved into the deepest layer of closed-door training. In the learning state of superpower, in a near-sudden enlightenment manner, his mind was constantly filled with a large amount of spirit light, continuously deducing the most suitable primordial spirit technique for himself. But even so, it took him a whole year to awaken from his meditation. Finally, the framework for the first tribulation of the perfect primordial spirit technique is built. Lu Qing's eyes held a sense of admiration. Having studied numerous primordial spirit techniques and the many inheritances in the stone room, he knew that cultivation at the primordial spirit realm was far more vast than at the golden core realm. Therefore, the deduction of the perfect primordial spirit technique was also extremely challenging. Even with so many inheritances and the guidance of the Taoist chapter, it took a full year to construct the framework for the first tribulation. It must be noted that upon entering the primordial spirit realm, Lu Qing's superpower underwent a transformation. But even then, it took such a lengthy period of time to yield results. It can be imagined how difficult it really is to deduce the perfect primordial spirit technique. The beginning is always the hardest, but once the framework for the first tribulation is done, the subsequent deductions will be much smoother. Lu Qing took a brief rest to alleviate some of his mental fatigue before preparing to continue meditating. After perfecting the first tribulation of the perfect primordial spirit technique and deducing the subsequent realms, at that moment, his heart and spirit suddenly stirred slightly. What's going on? Why do I feel this sudden urge? Lu Qing frowned, but when he tried to sense it carefully, he found nothing. Yet Lu Qing knew that at his level, such a sudden impulse couldn't appear without cause. There must be something closely related to him about to happen that caused such a fluctuation in his heart and spirit. With those closely related to me, those who can stir my sudden impulses are none other than Little Yen, Little Li and Master, just a few people. Little Li is in the secret realm. With Senior watching over him, there shouldn't be any problems. Could it be something happened in the hometown world? Lu Qing pondered silently, wanting to perform a calculation. But whether because his calculation skill was ineffectual or the distance to his hometown world was too great, he couldn't get any results. It seems that once I leave, I should find a more powerful calculation skill to cultivate, Lu Qing said somewhat helplessly. Although he didn't deduce anything, the sudden impulse still greatly concerned him. Originally, he had planned to stay in the secret realm in closed-door training for a while longer since it was absolutely safe and perfectly suited for him to deduce techniques. But now he changed his mind. Once the first tribulation of the perfect primordial spirit technique is fully deduced, I'll leave the closed-door training and return to the hometown world. After making his decision, Lu Qing meditated again. Under the pressure of the subtle urgency within his heart, the deduction speed of the technique became quicker. It took only 3 months to completely deduce the first tribulation. But after deducing the technique, Lu Qing didn't have time to cultivate and verify it. He directly left the stone room and called for a mysterious presence. "Little one, you're out so soon?" The mysterious presence teleported Lu Qing into the blood pool space, somewhat surprised. The presence had initially thought Lu Qing would spend 10 or 8 years in closed-door training in the stone room. "Senior, what about little Li and them?" Lu Qing surveyed the blood pool space, yet didn't see the figures of little Li and the others. "Them? After absorbing enough primordial blood liquid, I sent them to engage in some real combat training," the mysterious presence said casually. Then, a light screen appeared before Lu Qing, showing little Li and the 5 elements battling a group of mutant beasts. Those mutant beasts were very familiar to Lu Qing, indeed the group of Golden Core Realm mutant beasts outside the Trial Witch Tower. The 36 Golden Core Realm mutant beasts, except for the 3 strongest Golden Core Perfection beasts, did not attack. The other 33 beasts all teamed up to besiege little Li and the others, leaving the 3 spiritual beasts extremely embarrassed and in risky situations. Yet strangely, even though little Li and the others were entirely at a disadvantage, they all knew a particularly exquisite movement technique, allowing them to dodge attacks at critical moments, even finding opportunities to fight back. Especially little Li, it naturally possessed space divine ability, coupled with that exquisite movement technique, making it almost ghostly. Every time it fought back, it tore large wounds on those Golden Core Realm mutant beasts. So Lu Qing could tell, despite the seemingly dangerous situation, little Li and the others faced no great threat to their lives. "Senior, are you training little Li and the others in combat skills?" Lu Qing realized. "Correct, although these 3 little ones have decent talent. Aside from little Li, the other 2's real combat skills are simply unbearable to look at, so I just helped mold them a bit." Lu Qing was somewhat embarrassed. He knew the mysterious presence was right. Little Li had been by his side from a young age, experiencing quite a few battles, naturally having extensive combat experience. But the 5 elements and Xiao Bai were different. One was nurtured within the secret realm, previously so naive it almost knew nothing. Later, following Lu Qing, it mostly slept within a spiritual artifact, not experiencing many battles. As for the White Flood Dragon, it was even less mentioned, always hiding at the bottom of spiritual pond in seclusion, not even interacting with other demon beasts. It was practically a blank slate. So the combat experience of these 2 little ones was naturally far inferior to little Li. "Thank you, Senior, for nurturing them, but I'm afraid I need to prepare to leave the secret realm. Might you call little Li and the others back?" "You're about to leave here?" The mysterious presence was somewhat surprised. "Little one, didn't you say you wanted to seclude yourself here for a while? Why do you suddenly want to leave?" the mysterious being asked in some confusion. When Lu Qing first returned to the secret realm, he even specifically asked how long he could stay here, obviously intending to seclude himself for a long time. Why did he suddenly change his mind? "I indeed originally intended to seclude myself here for quite a while, but unfortunately, things don't always go as planned, and I have reasons I must leave." Lu Qing revealed what had been weighing heavily on his mind. "I see. You've sensed that your close relatives might be in danger, so you want to hurry back home?" The mysterious being suddenly understood. Regarding Lu Qing's mention that he's not a native of the heavenly origin great world, the being seemed not to care. The Witch clan once commanded vast starry skies, endless worlds. Why would they care which world Lu Qing hailed from? "Although it's uncertain, if this remains unclear, I'm afraid my mind will be unsettled, and the results of my seclusion will be greatly affected," Lu Qing said earnestly. "That's true. If the mind is restless, seclusion is only half as effective. I'll bring them back now." The mysterious being nodded slightly. In the next moment, as the being's thoughts lightly stirred, The figures of little Li and the others vanished from the light screen where they were still fighting. When they reappeared, they were already beside Lu Qing. Initially, little Li and a few others were somewhat bewildered, but upon seeing Lu Qing, they were all pleasantly surprised. "Ah Qing, you've come out?" Little Li leaped onto Lu Qing's shoulder with a swoosh. "Yes." Lu Qing nodded, cradling little Li and gently rubbing its head. "Ah Qing." Little Li seemed puzzled. It sensed that Lu Qing's mood was slightly off. "It's nothing, just haven't seen you for a while and felt like hugging you." Lu Qing smiled. "Oh." Little Li didn't think much of it and nuzzled Lu Qing's palm with its head. After caressing Little Li's head a few times and calming his mind, Lu Qing said, "Little Li, prepare yourself, we're going home." "Going home?" Little Li's eyes lit up, though it was soon puzzled. "But didn't you say you'd be secluded here for quite a long time?" "I originally planned to, but this seclusion went smoother than expected, so we can head back earlier. Moreover, when we left, we promised little Yen that we'd be back within 50 years. Now, it's been much longer than 50 years. I wonder how worried little Yen will be, so it's best to return quickly." Lu Qing didn't mention his sudden impulse, so as not to worry little Li. "All right, we can finally go back." Little Li suddenly became excited. Although life in the secret realm is safe, it still misses the people and things of its hometown world. "Senior, how can we leave the secret realm? Will you send us out?" Lu Qing asked. "This space has now submerged deep in the void. Even I cannot send you out. So if you want to leave, you must rely on the teleportation stone plate. Only the exotic treasure refined by that great being can traverse this endless void and send you out. But you must be aware, even the teleportation stone plate can only send you back to the location where you entered. So when you exit, you must be cautious, and don't let yourself fall into an ambush." The mysterious being cautioned. "The teleportation stone plate can only send me back to the original location?" Lu Qing was slightly startled. This was unexpected. But after pondering for a moment, he recalled that the place he activated the teleportation stone plate was deep within the 10,000 Demon Mountain range. That location isn't particularly important, and such a long time has passed, those primordial spirit great powers surely haven't maintained that big array there. After all, a big array that can suppress a space within 1,000 miles is not simple. The materials for the array formation must be high-grade spiritual artifacts. Lu Qing didn't believe those primordial spirit great powers would waste such resources in such an insignificant deep mountain area. "It seems you are already prepared?" The mysterious being noticed Lu Qing's expression and smiled. "Those primordial spirit great powers probably wouldn't expect me to appear again. As long as I'm careful, it should be fine." Lu Qing said, "But I have one more thing I'd like to ask, Senior." "Oh, what is it?" "The reason I was tracked by those primordial spirit great powers last time was because one of Xiao Bai's clan elders among them used some sort of bloodline secret technique to sense its location. That secret technique is quite mystical. It seems it can't be completely screened even by spiritual artifacts. If I just go out like this, I'm afraid those of the primordial spirit realm will detect it again. I wonder if Senior has a way to help Xiao Bai obscure the heavenly secrets, so it won't be perceived by the king serpent of the primordial spirit." "Is it just this minor issue?" The mysterious being laughed lightly after hearing this. "You can rest assured about this. Trivial bloodline sensing technique is nothing. Xiao Bai has now entered the True Dragon 9 transformations and fully mastered the first transformation. Although True Dragon 9 transformations isn't an exceptional cultivation technique, it can indeed change oneself and block the bloodline sensing. As long as Xiao Bai employs the transformation technique, not just its clan elders, even its own kin will struggle to perceive its location. So you don't need to worry about it being discovered again after you go out." "I see. Thank you for the guidance, Senior." Hearing this, Lu Qing immediately felt relieved. He never expected that the True Dragon 9 transformations would have such an effect. As for the White Flood Dragon, upon hearing this, it showed a look of joy. To be honest, knowing that the reason those primordial spirit great powers managed to discover their traces was because of himself, the White Flood Dragon felt quite guilty and fearful. If it weren't for Lu Qing being strong enough, Everyone that day would probably have been dragged down by him, their bodies and spirits annihilated. Now, upon hearing that cultivating the true Dragon 9 transformations can block the King Serpent's bloodline senses towards him, the White Flood Dragon could finally let go of a heavy burden in his heart. If that's the case, I'll take my leave now. I'll come to see you again when I have time in the future. Lu Qing bowed and said respectfully, "No need for that. You've used the teleportation stone plate once, and there are 2 remaining uses. Don't waste it on such trivial matters." The mysterious presence quickly remarked, "I understand, Senior. Until next time." With these words, Lu Qing put little Li and the others into the leaving fire tripod and then took out the teleportation stone plate to activate it. Instantly, a mysterious wave enveloped him. Shortly after, the plate tore through space, carrying Lu Qing into the endless void of chaotic currents. As Lu Qing's figure completely disappeared, the space returned to calm. After a long while, a sigh sounded. "I wonder at what realm these little ones will be the next time they come." Its voice was sparse, tinged with a sense of loneliness. This endless void is unexpectedly not just an empty expanse but filled with many magical landscapes. What is that? Wrapped in the waves emitted by the teleportation stone plate, Lu Qing was observing the scenery outside in the endless void. When he previously entered the secret realm, he was in a state of fleeing and had to constantly monitor the situation in the leaving fire tripod. With his heart and spirit tense, he had no time to pay attention to anything else. But now it's different. He could take his time and enjoy it. Through this round of observations, Lu Qing was astonished to find that the endless void was not what he initially imagined. A barren, pitch-black space or a realm of endless chaotic currents. On the contrary, due to the high speed of the teleportation stone plate, he vaguely saw some astonishing sights. For instance, he saw a bubble-like space with a golden temple floating up and down. He also saw a small island drifting with the currents in the void. He even saw a 36 petals blue lotus flower floating in the chaotic currents of the void. In that river-like flow of time, there were even some enormous, indescribable massive beings intermittently visible. Unfortunately, the speed of the teleportation stone plate was too fast, and these magical landscapes zipped by. He couldn't even clearly see, let alone carefully observe. Lu Qing didn't have the opportunity to use superpower to investigate. However, Lu Qing could feel that all those magical landscapes emitted incredibly terrifying auras. If not for the protection of the teleportation stone plate, even with his current strength, he would probably be unable to withstand it. It seems the endless void contains many secrets, but unfortunately my current strength is too low. I haven't even started deciphering the space law, so it's impossible to delve into exploration. Lu Qing understood that those magical landscapes he just saw weren't something he could explore right now. His ability to see these magical landscapes was all thanks to the blessing of the teleportation stone plate. If it weren't for the protection of the teleportation stone plate, the terrifying space currents outside would shred him to pieces, even with his current strength fully exposed. I wonder if, after entering the primordial spirit 5 tribulations and comprehending spatial power, I could steer a void-flying boat to explore the void? Looking at the magical landscapes fleeting outside, the thought suddenly arose in Lu Qing's mind. The essence of the void-flying boat is one of the components of a powerful Dao artifact, and its current power has been restored to the level of a top-grade spiritual artifact. But also precisely because of its high grade, Lu Qing, even after entering the primordial spirit realm, found it difficult to unleash the true power of this exotic treasure. Perhaps he would have to wait until he reaches the 5 tribulation realm, comprehends spatial power, and can fully control this exotic treasure effortlessly. While Lu Qing pondered, the teleportation stone plate carried him across countless layers of void. Eventually, it broke through a spatial rift on the void surface and drilled through. Feeling the light penetrating in and that familiar world aura, Lu Qing knew he had arrived at the heavenly origin great world. He immediately heightened his vigilance, mana surging within his body, and the leaving fire tripod ready to explode at any moment. Soon, Lu Qing appeared again in the heavenly origin great world. The light from the teleportation stone plate gathered, returning to an ordinary appearance, falling into his hand. Lu Qing's primordial spirit power instantly covered 100 miles around, probing the surrounding situation. After a round of sensing, he found that everything around was very calm. Apart from the traces of his battle with the White Ape King then still being present, the power of the array that sealed the space had completely vanished without a trace. Within 100 miles, apart from some weak spirit beasts and demon beasts, there were no powerful presences. Lu Qing immediately relaxed a breath. Although he had long anticipated that after so long, those primordial spirit great powers wouldn't still be waiting for him here, but that was just a prediction. Now it was safe, he could truly rest assured. However, for the sake of caution, Lu Qing still promptly took out a teleportation jade talisman and activated it. With a spatial wave, his figure suddenly disappeared into the air. Ah Qing! How are we going to leave the heavenly origin great world? In a hidden part of the forest, Little Li asked Lu Qing. That's indeed a problem. Lu Qing also fell into contemplation. The heavenly origin great world is not just any ordinary world. It ranks among the top in the entire great origin immortal domain. Its celestial gale layer is extremely terrifying, and even an ordinary primordial spirit great power would struggle to endure in it for long. The boundary membrane is vast in power, extremely tenacious, blocking everything. Even spiritual artifacts find it hard to penetrate. Back when he entered the heavenly origin great world, it was by Nangong Yuanwu using their Nangong family's transmission array to smuggle in. But things are different now. He has myriad troubles on him, making it easy to avoid appearing again. Nangong Yuanwu's route is clearly impassable now. If he contacts him, there's no telling what might happen. It's not that Lu Qing doesn't trust Nangong Yuanwu, but he feels uncertain about people's hearts and doesn't want to stir up more trouble. Even with the universal transmission array, he doesn't want to use it. Lu Qing has not forgotten that the heavenly origin great world's transmission array is specially designed. It doesn't allow the use of spiritual artifacts to conceal holy spirits for covert riding, meaning that Little Li and the others would have to reveal themselves too. But in doing so, even if they used True Dragon 9 transformations to alter their forms, it would be hard to ensure no one connects them to him. After all, he has truly offended the Holy Alliance, and among the human race forces in the heavenly origin great world, countless sects and families want his life. Knowing the nature of these great forces, Lu Qing is well aware they'd rather wrongly kill thousands than easily let go of even a single chance to search for him. His possession of the 3 great spirit beasts is no secret and is likely not hidden from some observant eyes. The transmission array route won't work. It seems I must try that method. Thinking it through, Lu Qing finally looked towards the sky to make a decision. He immediately summoned the void flying boat and ventured inside with Little Li and the others. He then activated the flying boat, soaring up high directly into the sky. Yes, the method Lu Qing thought of was to pilot the void flying boat forcibly through the celestial gale layer and boundary membrane of the heavenly origin great world to leave this realm. Although the heavenly origin great world's boundary membrane is powerful, the essence of the void flying boat is a part of a Tao artifact. Thus, he believes there's a good chance of forcibly breaking through. The void flying boat rushed upward and reached the celestial gale layer in just a breath.